Podcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Broncos and Hawks tonight as we close out play in District 6-6A on Champion Sports Radio. Live from North Carrollton, Champion Sports Radio proudly presents continuing coverage of Texas schoolboy football as we track the Hebron Hawk football season of 2014. Welcome into beautiful Hawk Stadium on the campus of Hebron High School for tonight's District 6-6A matchup, the season finale featuring the McKinney Boyd Broncos in its 6 wins and 3 losses versus Hebron's 2-win, 7-loss Hawks. The broadcast of tonight's high school football game has been granted to Champion Sports Radio by the McKinney and Louisville Independent School Districts and the University Interscholastic League. No other broadcast of this origination is permitted without written authorization from Champion Sports Radio, from the McKinney and Louisville Independent School Districts and the UIL, the University Interscholastic League, in year number 105 in the 2014-2015 school year. Hi again, everybody. Brad Denton bidding you a very pleasant good evening and welcome in. Joining me on the broadcast tonight is Wes Lynch. And Weston, good to have you along. We closed the curtain on the Hawks season, and it's a season that's seen, ups and downs and perhaps more of the latter, but it's a Hawk outfit that into game number 10, a little bit of bounce in the step, and for good reason.
You're right, Brad. They go on the road last week to Kimbrough Stadium, a place that they've never won before. They're one previous time there, and they come out with a 2017 win over Plano East. And this week, coming back to the Woodshed, they haven't won a game here yet.
Maybe tonight's the night, Weston.
Senior night, hopefully they come out, play with some pride, and this is a big game for both teams on that sense.
I mentioned at the top Hebron's record into 2 wins and 7 losses along the way. That was one to cherish last week at Plano East, and while East ended the game last week identical to Hebron with the 1-win, 7-loss record, somehow, watching it, I saw 2 teams that were better than 1-7. Very competitive football game. And it was a football game that Hebron had a lead into the fourth quarter, had never trailed in the game. And lo and behold, East scores a touchdown with 10-plus minutes left in the game. Gives Hebron time to feed the horse in running back Angelo Garbett. And they get it done with a distance drive off the ensuing kickoff. And then able to fight off a late Plano East possession. In fact, get an interception late that pays the price on the insurance premium.
They do get the late interception, but defensively, it was their best game all year. They forced 4 interceptions. First half, they had trouble, kind of containing Smalls. He was able to scramble out. But second half, they got it together and able to just keep him in the pocket, and they weren't able to do much there.
They played very well, so Hebron looking for win number 3 on the year, and it will be a 3rd win in this rugged District 6A. Recall, Hebron started out stumbling out of the starting gate, and they just kept falling. Ball game after ball game ended up being 0-6 before, quite frankly, winning 2 out of the past 3 football games. For McKinney Boyd, this was one of those classes over at Boyd that they sort of had circled for a few years. They knew that we were going to be strong. We're strong a year ago. Ball club finished 7-5, took a couple of steps into the playoffs, returned 11, maybe 12 starters off of that football team. And while maybe not so strong early, losing an opener at Mesquite Horn before defeating Coppell in game number 2, open District 6-6A play, getting blasted by Allen, but what else? Allen 58-28. But since then, They have won 5 of 6. The lone loss some 5 games ago to Plano West, but since then, successive wins over Plano East, a big win on a Thursday night at home over the Plano Wildcats, 29-7. Defeated Marcus when the Marauders still had their sights set on playoff hopes out of District 6-6A. And a week ago, big over the Louisville Farmers, 31-17 the final. That's a 4-game roll. McKinney Boyd is on one of the 4 playoff qualifiers out of District 6-6A. They just hope to keep the machinery rolling.
They do. I mean, 4 games in a row, they're playing their best football here at the end of the year, which is what a coach wants to see. And this game's big for them tonight. If they lose this game and Plano wins, that means next week they go see Denton Geyer, and that's not a team you want to run into in the first round.
Yeah, it's all about seeding into that first round of the playoff, and what Boyd wants and what the Plano Wildcats want. They are the 2 District 6-6A representatives into Division II. Oh, they want that coveted top spot, the top seed out of District 6-6A Division II. And if Boyd's able to take care of business here, they will claim that by defeating Hebron. And that will, well, quite frankly, when you get right down to it, as you mentioned, keep Boyd from drawing that first-round juggernaut, a team ranked at number 10 statewide, at 8-1, Denton Geyer. They have Denton Ryan tonight up at the Big Collins Complex in Denton tonight. I would look for Geyer to go in the playoffs at 9-1 and the 9 wins all in succession.
I would too, and Denton Geyer, a lot of playoff experience last 5-6 years. You know, they know what to expect when they get to playoffs. They know what they need to do, which makes that game even tougher for whoever runs into them.
Here's a quick overview of District 6-6A. Representing the district as the Division I representatives will be the Allen Eagles top seed, 2 seed in Division I, the Wolves of Plano West. And the Division II entries, I mentioned Boyd, these Broncos, along with the Plano Wildcats, and we'll see after the smoke settles in after the evening as to who goes to where. Those on the outside looking in, Flower Mound Marcus, Louisville, Flower Mound High School, Hebron, and Louisville. 4 in and 5 out in the 9-team District 6-6A race. Also on the agenda tonight across 6-6A, Plano East and Allen tangle at Kimbrough. Ironically, Allen the home team over there. Plano on the road to Max Goldsmith for the Louisville Farmers, and Plano West on the far side of the LISD go to Neil Wilson Stadium to take on homestanding Flower Mound Marcus. The Week 10 bye. The Marauders closed a week ago, the season record at 5-5. 2 good head coaches that have been, at their program since the infancy. Day 1 head man Don Drake of McKinney Boyd, Brian Brazel, the 15th-year head man for Hebron. We talked to either one of them. We hear from Don Drake first when our pregame programming from Hawk Stadium continues after this timeout.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Take your choice and pay just $269 a month on new Chrysler Town & Countries or Dodge Grand Caravans. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Chrysler 300s or Dodge Chargers at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huffines has it.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
From Hawk Stadium, the pregame show continues as we welcome in McKinney Boyd head coach Don Drake, and we do that with congratulations to you, your staff, your Broncos. Coach Drake, a terrific year, winners of 6 and 9, and with a 4-game win streak, and it just seems like Boyd playing their best football down the home stretch.
Well, we always hope that we're doing that at the end of the year. You know, we've been able to accomplish that for the last several years, and it was great last week to go in and clinch a playoff spot for the 5th straight year. For these kids, they've done an outstanding job. Obviously, we got a lot of work left to do. Tonight's an important matchup for us against Hebron, so we need to come and play well.
Don, no shortage of big-time running backs in this rugged District 6-6A, and tonight's game features 2 of the best. Let me start with your comments first about Hebron's number 22, Angelo Garbett.
Yeah, he's a very talented player, there's no doubt. He's a huge weapon for them. They do a great job of feeding him the ball over and over again and allow him to create some explosive plays. So he's a definite concern for us. We've got to do a great job of containing him in the run game.
And then for you, it's had to be fun having one like your number one in Dedrick Scrivens.
Yeah, no doubt. Dedrick's been a big part of our varsity program for the 3 years that he's been a varsity member. The last 2 as our starting running back, and he's had great back-to-back campaigns as our starting running back. So we're excited about him, what he brings to our team, and hope for a big night for him.
Don, as you mentioned, your Broncos already having achieved the playoff berth. By the way, Boyd's 5th consecutive postseason appearance, but point of the matter is there's still some meat on the bone for your Broncos. It comes down to playoff seeding. You take care of business here tonight at Hebron, and Boyd lays claim to that coveted District 6-6A Division II top seed, and that does mean something.
Yes, it does. There's no doubt. This is a huge ball game for us. You know, we've been talking about that all week with the kids about how important it is. You know, in this district, it seems like every game is such a huge game, you know, and for us coming off our bye a few weeks back, we knew how critical it was that we would be able to string together some victories to get us in the playoffs, and then we finally accomplished that last week, and then tonight's game becomes even bigger because it does determine so much in terms of playoff seeding.
Coach Drake, a final thought. Your first meeting with Hebron, and like Brian Brazel at Hebron, Coach Drake, the only head coach ever at McKinney Boyd. Don, your 9th season at Boyd, and as the Hebron folks in this neighborhood are mighty proud of what Coach Brazel has made of Hebron Hawk football, I know the Boyd backers, very proud of what Coach Drake has in Bronco football. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Coach Brazel does an outstanding job, as you alluded to just a second ago. He's a great football coach, has a great staff, and he's great for kids, and has done a lot of wonderful things here at Hebron. And we obviously have tried to do some great things ourselves there at McKinney Boyd, and our kids have worked hard and committed themselves to it, and hopefully we'll finish the race.
Appreciate your time. Good luck on the playoff path.
Thank you.
Don Drake, 9th year head coach of the Boyd Broncos, in from McKinney. Stay tuned. We continue with the countdown to kickoff after this timeout on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on the all-new 2013 Huffines Dodge Starts. Only $269 a month on new Huffines Ram Quad Cabs. or only $279 a month on new Huff Hines Ram Crew Cabs at both locations of Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio. Your home for championship social media.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
Pre-game programming presented by Whirly Ball continues from Hawks Stadium, the venue for tonight's season finale with the Hebron Hawks hosting the McKinney Boyd Broncos. We're pleased to be joined by Hebron head coach Brian Brazel. And Coach B, a lot of things to be positive about. A road win in this district. It's exactly what your Hawks did a week ago at Plano East, 2017, that Halloween final over the Panthers. And I thought the defense, fueled by the 4 takeaways, maybe played their best game of the year.
Yeah, we feel our defense really has been getting better week to week, and even in the game against Plano West, we felt we played well. We gave up a lot of points, but had 8 turnovers as well. And but no, I think defensively our kids played well. Getting a turnover early in the game to capitalize on was huge, and then just continued to stay with it. And they made some plays, but I think the good thing is that we just continued to battle and stay with it. And so I was proud of the way the kids played. It was, no turnovers from the offense was big as well. We did a good job controlling and doing things the way we want to do it. And, trying to take the air out of the ball a little bit. And again, Angelo got on his shoulders and ran with him. He did a great job. And offensive line, even though had a few injuries in there, those guys did a great job of creating holes and seams. And again, I thought Richard played a pretty good game last week as well and managed the game well for us.
You mentioned offensively, and that offensive line would qualify as a patchwork offensive line due to injuries, and they do allow Angelo Garbett to do what he does so well. I recall late in the broadcast I was reduced from making the statement that, man, oh man, am I going to miss Angelo Garbett.
Yeah, the offensive line. Again, there were 2 guys that weren't starting at the beginning of the year. We had Brian Drew wasn't playing it for a time there, and but again, just to have all those kids continue to do what they're doing and continuing to the way they've played all year has been good, and knowing that they've got to create holes and seams in there because we've really been a run first and run second and run third football team for a big part of the season. And then Angelo I've been so proud of the way he's just been a warrior all year long and just continue to pretty much take the team on his back and go with it. And he takes a lot of pride in doing that, and I'm just proud of the way he's played.
Angelo, one of 47 seniors on the Hawk roster, and this group that I know you're very close to. Any closing comments on your senior class 2014?
Well, I think anytime you look at your seniors, there's always a lot of great memories of just seeing the kids grow up. And, of course, this group's especially close to me probably in a lot of ways because my son is a senior in this class. So I know a lot of these kids from the time they were little kids playing Pee-wee football or just going to eat lunch at Homestead Elementary with the kids and seeing little kids being around there and just being around. But, no, I think every group's always special. And this year's been especially tough with all the injuries and things that we've had. But I've just been real proud of the way the kids have continued to show up to work every day. They've continued to, there have been some days where they're down a little bit, but I guarantee they battled through it, and we continued to stay on task with them and, haven't given up, and they've continued to take pride in what they're doing. So, my hats go off to them. And, and just the challenge that always to each kid every day when they go out there is, sometimes the play before is not a good one, so you got to turn the page, get ready for the next one, and that's life, And sometimes that's the things you always want these kids to take away from them is just like just football season. It may not go the way you want it to, but you never quit, and you keep battling, keep getting up, and you move on, and you're gonna have nothing but great memories from the time you had, and that's what I hope these kids take with them.
Brian, obviously no cupcakes in District 6A. The final challenge tonight: a 6-win, 3-loss McKinney Boyd Bronco team in town. A first ever meeting with Boyd. That's a playoff qualifier. They're in on a roll. Boyd winners of 4 straight, and quite frankly, another quality football team.
Yeah, Coach Drake, just like, we did at Hebron, we started the program here. He did over there at McKinney Boyd, and he's done a really good job of establishing a really strong program, a program that's been consistently in the top of their district, making playoff runs each and every year. And, I know going into the season he was very excited about this group. He had a strong feeling about them, and, and they've met the expectations he's had. They've been able to stay fairly healthy. They've had a few kids get banged up along the way, but they've played well. They're a very physical football team. They got 2 really good receivers, a really good running back. Quarterback gets a ball to them, and those guys are able to make plays. Offensive line protects well, and then defensively, it's just they're very physical up front, and they do a great job of creating problems up front, running the football. So we know it's going to be a big challenge for us tonight. But at the same time, we're excited for the challenge and excited for the opportunity to get out there and play.
Brian, as always, thanks for the time. Been fun. And best of luck closing this thing out on a positive note.
All right, that's what the plan is, and I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all y'all do.
Brian Brazel, Hebron head man, has his sights set on win number 108. It's the pregame show presented by Whirly Ball, and we continue in a moment on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huff Heinz' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Heinz Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on new Huff Heinz Jeep Liberties. Only $269 a month on new Huff Heinz Chrysler 200s. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Jeep Grand Cherokees or Dodge Durangos. At both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Heinz has it.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute. Online at gdyo.org/jazz.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
The Hebron Hawks on Champion Sports Radio. This broadcast of Louisville Independent School District football is brought to you in part by Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, by Whirly Ball, by In Command Broadcasting, by Point of Origin Design, by ShockboxDFW.com, by the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra and the new GDYO Jazz Institute. Hebron Hawk football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio. On Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. Along with Wes Lynch, I'm Brad Denton. Welcome in Hawk Stadium, the side of this one. Wes, we heard from a couple of head coaches, first from ninth-year head man at McKinney Boyd, Don Drake, the only coach they've ever had. He has won 52 while losing 46. Boyd opened as a 4A school for the 2006-2007 seasons, going into 2008 and since elevated to the top class 5A and now 6A in 2014. The Boyd Broncos overall with 6 playoff appearances, including now the last 5 years in a row.
Yeah, Brian, been here since Hebron opened. This is 15th year. He's gone 107-65. His team has entered the playoffs 10 times, and in 2005, they made it to the top of the totem pole, winning the 4A Division II state championship over the Corpus Christi Cow-Allen Cats.
That was a 16-0 Hebron Ball Club back in 05 that won the title. Brian Brazel, of course, a product of Pasadena's Sam Rayburn High School and an All-Southwest Conference football player at Texas Christian University. It's a first ever meeting between McKinney Boyd and Hebron. Again, Boyd in their 9th varsity season. Hebron in season number 15. And West, quite frankly, nearly uncharted waters for a Hebron ball club to be going into a Game 10, a season finale, knowing that it's your final 4 quarters. Previous years, they've either already had the playoff postseason berth earned, or certainly had a good chance to earn one in Week 10. Not this year.
Not this year, and it is different because, usually you go into that Week 10 game and we're playing Marcus, and that's always been a big game and a tough game for Hebron. So this year, it's a pride standpoint. Hopefully Hebron comes out and does what they need to do and finish off the year with a big win.
Weather-wise, absolutely delightful. Indian summer aglow across North Texas. Bright sunshine throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Our kickoff temperature to be in the upper 50s, I think, registering currently at 58 degrees. We just had the toss of the coin, and Hebron did win that coin toss, and they will elect to defer the Hawk decision to the second half. Boyd says, give us the football, and Hebron will kick it off here in just a few moments. To Boyd, Hebron will be kicking from our right to left as we see it from high atop the west stands at Hawk Stadium from south to north. What bit of a breeze we have tonight will be at the back of Hebron as we open things up. That southerly wind perhaps kicking 7 to 10 miles per hour. Not a whole lot. But a good football team in Boyd coming in and a lot to play for. They want that top seed out of District 6A's Division II representative. We'll be back with the kickoff. The Broncos of Boyd, the Hawks of Hebron after the timeout on Champion Sports Radio.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2nd, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the number one cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Well, for a season finale, a healthy bunch of Hebron Hawk fans below us filing into Hawk Stadium, and a appreciable legion of fans down from McKinney across the way in support of their playoff-bound Boyd Broncos. With Wes Lynch, I'm Brad Denton. Thanks for joining us. Just had the showing of colors and a stirring rendition of our national anthem played by the Hebron Hawk Band, and that's a band that competed in very well in the statewide marching contest, I think placing second in the state. Our referee is Mr. Joel Williams. He's about to hand the football to the Hebron kickoff man, who is Nick Horiatis. And Horiatis will kick it away to a couple of deep safeties in Derek Scrivens on the far side, along with Brandon Bowling. Scrivens is the very dangerous kick return running back. Hebron dressed tonight in the old Nike blue jerseys over black trousers. Boyd answers with navy blue breeches, white jerseys, red numerals, navy blue helmets, almost an Ole Miss Rebel look. The kick from Horiatis taken a yard deep by Bowling up the right hash is seam 20, 30, on his feet to the 40, down the sideline 50. Bowling's on his way to the 30. See so long on the 101-yard kickoff return to open up the game from Brandon Bowling of McKinney Boyd.
Hebron kick cover team just got pushed open. There was a wedge, and Bowling took it, and kicker was not able to run him down.
Bowling, a very dangerous inside receiver for the Boyd Broncos, and you almost want to kick it away from Scrivens, but maybe not to Bowling. Took it a yard deep and did not get a hand laid on him on the kickoff return. Good heavens. Brandon Bowling lights up the scoreboard some 13 seconds into it. The kicker is Drew Smith. His point after touchdown's on the way and make a 7 out of the Boyd 6. As we go to an early timeout, 11:47, first quarter. And very quickly, a new score. It's Boyd 7, Hebron nothing on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huff Hines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Hines' model year-end sales event at both locations of Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Take your choice and pay just $269 a month on new Chrysler Town & Countries or Dodge Grand Caravans. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Chrysler 300s or Dodge Chargers at both locations of Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Hines has it.
Well, we'll turn around and try it the other way, as Hebron will deploy Omar Hicks-Onu along with Angelo Garbett. And it is one Drew Smith who just tacked on that extra point, who will peg it at the north 40 and kick into a slight breeze with his Boyd Broncos not even employing the offensive unit, yet up 7-0 on the kickoff return from Brandon Bowling. Bowling can fly, junior at 155 and 5'9", a vapor trail of 101 yards. There's the kick, little pooch kick. Going to be fielded by Hebron on a bounce and up back at the 25, and that's Derek Mueller carrying across the 30-35, and he's going to be buried near the 36-yard line by Augustin Witt on Boyd's kick cover team. Hebron offensively will feature Brian Drew at center, Devin Wright and Jarrett Farley. Draw the start at the offensive guards. Freddie Danchez and Hayden Seeley are the Hawk tackles. The tight end is Joe Martin, and the quarterback is the sophomore Richard Dodd. In the backfield, offset to the left of Dodd, is Angelo Garbett. Hebron from the 36. Handoff Garbett, outside right side, now turns inside, going to lose a yard right there, and that's good linebacker play by Ron DeBoue, D-E-B-O-U-E, and it's pronounced DeBoue, and he's in the backfield penetrating, and the junior linebacker will spill Garbett for the loss of 2 to the 34 off right tackle.
DeBoue, he just sat there right off the side of the tackle and waited for Garbett to come to him. Garbett saw him, went to turn back, and had nowhere to go.
And not only did DeBoue turn Garbett inside, then he makes the tackle. Here's Dodd. They'll go to Garbett, this time left side. Tripped up after the gain back to the original line of scrimmage of a pair. Garbett lugging the leather at left tackle and not much doing, flying around one more time. Another linebacker, that's Blake Burton, one of the sophomore inside linebackers on this 3-4 base defense for the Boyd Broncos under coordinator J.W. Pate. They allow an average of 23 points a ball game. Hebron behind the chains now at 3rd down and 10. And a Hebron team that doesn't throw much. In fact, averaging only 30 yards a game passing. They will fire over the middle, the completion for 4 to the 40-yard line, shy of the first down mark. The tackle, DeBoue, and I believe that's the youngster wearing number 82 tonight, Joe Martin, the tight end, who was on the catch, the gain of 4, 4th down 6, Hebron. And the punter for the Hawks is Jake Gennard, in the unenviable task of booting it away to Dedrick Scrivens, who straddles his 25-yard line. Little breeze at the backside. The deep snap, Stanton Turley. Calling for the football is Gennard. Decent snap, no pressure. Gennard gets a kick away. High and short. The knuckling kick will touch down at the 40 in Boyd territory. Will not be returned, and a Hebron hop inside the 35 and tumbling inside the 30 and dies of exhaustion in the vicinity. In fact, at the 26-yard line in Boyd territory, Derek Mueller hustling down to put a hand on the football to freeze it at the 26. And here's Boyd offensively, an outfit that averages just shy of 30 points a game. The quarterback is an angular junior, 6'3", 190-pound Grant Restmeyer. The guy with the big numbers is Dedrick Scrivens, 1,307 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns. They'll work out of a pistol set. We'll introduce the balance of the offense after Boyd's initial play from scrimmage from the Bronco 26 right hash mark. Restmeyer goes on an option. Will keep it for 5 across the 30 to the 31. He fumbles late, but after he had surfaced, Grant Restmeyer running behind the block of offensive tackle Tyrese Robinson on that right side. Pulled down by the pursuing nose guard of Jarrett Lee of Hebron. Alongside with Robinson up front, Patrick Quintana, the tackle on the left side. Carlos Alvarez, the left guard. The centerpiece is Matt Morse. The right guard is Emery Gulick. Ressmeyer to throw. Cox fires across the way. That's caught for a first down and tackled immediately across the way. On the catch is Cassidy Woods. On the tackle is Hebron corner Colton Chapin. And it's good enough for a first down, a gain of 6 out across the 35 to the 38-yard line. First completion, Ressmeyer, first pass caught by Woods. $8:50 and rolling first quarter. Boyd by the touchdown. Ressmeyer keeps option off tackle right side 45 out of the 50, breaking a tackle into Hebron territory and upended by the Hawks' Jelani Heath in the open field after galloping for a big gain, 12 yards upfield, another 2 yards downfield to Hebron's 48-yard line. And back-to-back first downs registered on this, the initial possession of the ball game, offensively for Boyd.
Eberhardt right there in between Scrivens trying to watch for the pitch, and they were able to just take it right up the middle there.
We have not seen Scrivens yet. Ressmeyer airborne to the far flat, tipped and incomplete. A pass that I'll promise you that receiver, which is Woods, who caught the first pass, will come back and say, that's on me, should have had it. It sailed through his hands right over the top of the headgear.
Had him open.
Boy,
Chapin's paying 10 yards off the ball, just a little high for him.
He's a gunslinger back there, is Ressmeyer. He's completed 108 now of 201 passes on the year, nearly 54%, and has a strong right arm. Second down 10, Hebron's 48-yard line. Scrivens behind Ressmeyer in a pistol set. Here's the Scrivens inside, now into the secondary to the 40, running towards a first down stick at the 38, and tackled by Clay Holford, Hebron's senior 3-year starting inside linebacker. And did he get the 10? The only question is I think they'll pull up just a breath short, and it'll be third down less than 1. It is Holford, an inside linebacker, Jamison Cooper, an inside linebacker, Dallas Shigoya, and Corey Eberhardt are Hebron's outside backers. Pleased to see David Brazel dig in at defensive end after 4 or 5 games out with injury. Hand to Scrivens. He'll pick up the first down. Not a whole lot more. He'll dance for the gain of 2 to the 35. Cooper pulls him down with the ankle tackle. But you see Dedrick Scrivens and how dangerous he is, what quick feet, great vision he has. He's had some big ball games.
Yeah, quick feet is right. He sees that hole, and he cuts right into it right away.
Now back-to-back first downs for Boyd. There at Hebron's 35-yard line, continuing to work from the hash on the right side, going left, midline option. Ressmeyer keeps it and is met by a posse of blue-shirted defenders. Leading the way, Julian Harris, a defensive end. There's Cooper, Jamison Cooper, also a piece of the tackle. I see Antoine Partee working at one safety. Omar Hicks-Onu the other. Christian Dawson, corner left side. Colton Chapin, corner on the right side for Hebron. It's Lee Harris and David Brazel, the front 3. Second down and 7 from the 32. Ressmeyer airborne from the pocket to the boundary. That's caught inside the 20 and breaking it and turning it up to the 10 to the 5. And that's a touchdown for the favorite receiver of Ressmeyer. This is Jeremiah Campbell. It goes for 32 yards. The Hebron defender on the near side, I believe that was Christian Dawson, breaks for the interception, does not get it, and Jeremiah Campbell latches on just inside the 20 and spins toward the boundary and scoots down the sideline. It goes for 32 and a Boyd touchdown.
They just run the little 10-yard curl, and Dawson's just a little late on it, and he's able just to spin out and home free from there.
Drew Smith bangs the point after touchdown out of the hold of Braden McFadden and makes good at 6:44. Boyd making it look easy early at Hebron. New count, 6:44, opening period. Boyd 14, Hebron nothing on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
The touchdown toss for Grant Resmeyer of 32 yards, number 16 on the year. And how about Jeremiah Campbell, the deep threat, averaging 19 yards a catch, his 5th touchdown catch, and this one for 32 yards.
32 yards, 7 plays, 2 minutes, 59 seconds. The 32-yard touchdown pass from Resmeyer to Campbell. 14-0
Here's the kickoff
Boyd.
from Drew. Angling, bouncing into the grasp of Angelo Garbett at the 8, up the right hash, 15-20, breaks it outside 30, on his feet to the 40, riding the rail and stepping out of bounds at the Hebron 45-yard line. Nice return by the pair of deuces on the blue jersey of Angelo Garbett. And Hebron needs to rub some sticks together and create a little offensive fire here before this one sees Boyd running away and hiding.
They do. They need to get a good drive here, get a bunch of first downs, chew up some clock at the same time to give their defense a rest, and hopefully punch one in for 7.
The quarterback wears number 12 in Richard Dodd, got his first start 4 games ago versus Allen. He'll take a snap and run it and dig it wide outside, nowhere to go. The picket fence is built and the tackle is made in the open field by Ross Matisic, an outside linebacker who showed great quickness getting there, and then the open field artistry of the tackle in space.
Yeah, they just strung Dodd out, and he had nowhere to go, hoping to get that corner there at the last second, but tripped up from the dive on Matisic.
Losing 5 on the play, 2nd down and 15 Hebron from the Hawk 40. Go out of an I formation with Dodd under center. Ragsdale is at fullback. Handoff straight ahead. Garbett stoned at the line of scrimmage. Maybe puts up enough fight to get back to the line of scrimmage. Not sure that Angelo didn't lose a yard trying to penetrate the left side of his offensive line. Joshua Stewart, a good nose guard, leads a gang tackle of white-shirted defenders. And, in fact, they will say Mr. Garbett did go into reverse for a yard. It's 3rd down 16. Joshua Stewart, Keel Seamus, and Noah Prater, the nose guard and defensive ends, respectively. DeBoo and Burton, along with McFadden and Matisic, are the linebackers. Here's Dodd. Here's Hebron to throw. Swinging out of the backfield. Incomplete. And it goes on the ground. Picked up by Matisic. He thought he might have had the pick, but short-hopped it. It was intended for Angelo Garbett, rimming out of the backfield, and goes incomplete.
Dodd saw some pressure coming, and Garbett wasn't ready for the pass. Hit him in the back of the shoulder. And
almost carried him to Matisic.
It almost did.
Gone the other way. So Scriven peels off to take the Jake Gennard punt. 5:16, first quarter. Boyd at 14, Hebron at nothing. Here's the Stanton pass, high, going back, pulling it down. Big pressure, and just getting the kick away. And I mean, it's a line drive kick. It takes a Hebron hop from midfield inside the 40 and then rolls to a stop at the 33-yard line. My heavens, how did Jake Gennard get the kick off under such pressure, particularly from Braden McFadden, the linebacker?
He did it last week also, and this week I don't know how he got that one off. The ball never got more than 5 yards off the ground.
I was just waiting, Wes, for the double thud and never did get that second thud, and then I see the line drive squirming upfield, and Gennard just living right there. I think last week I said it was like the old miniature golf hole with the windmill. You had to putt it through.
Yeah.
Somehow Gennard was able to pooch it through. And here's Boyd's flammable offense working from the Bronco 33. Resmeyer cocks and fires, and that's complete across the way for the gain of 6. And tagged down immediately by Colton Chapin is the receiver Cassidy Woods. And that's a big blow by Chapin, just a breath late. And the pass was caught by Woods, the gain from the 33 of 7 to the 40-yard line. Working now from the hash mark across the way, sidelines left, open field right side. White shirts and navy blue breeches for McKinney Boyd. 6 wins, 3 losses on the year. Resmeyer again from the pistol, swinging out this way, caught by Bowling in space, near flat 40, 45 for a first down. Bowling will carry out to the 49 in Bronco territory. A gain of 9 as Jelani Heath, a corner, and the safety Omar Hicks-Onu able to high-low down Brandon Bowling, but not before the gain of 9 and a first down. We have not seen much of Dedrick Scrivens. And he's a guy that can light the candles at any time. Out of a pistol set, Ressmeyer again wings it to the flat. Break a tackle, and on his feet, Cassidy to the 50-46 in Hebron territory. The gain of 5. Omar Hicks-Onu. First hit, mop-up duty to Antoine Partee.
And that's a good play by Onu. I read the quarterback's eyes right away, got to the ball, slowed him down, turned him outside, and then Partee able to make the tackle.
Ressmeyer is really heating it up. Not time for Hebron to get pressure on him because he's letting it go and in a hurry. Mr. David Lowerwald has darkened the booth. The games officially can begin. Bringing generational friends with him. And pleased to have you. A handoff inside on second down and maybe 6, and getting about half of that is Dedrick Scrivens, tackled by Hebron safety Jason Lynch. Brayman also a piece of the tackle. Chris digging in now at a defensive end position. Hawks looking for a first home win in 2014 here in game number 10, the season finale. But coming off of a win, and Hebron has won 2 of their past 3. Third down and 3. Ressmeyer going to keep it and going to run for a first down off tackle right side of the 40 and wrestle down at Hebron's 39-yard line. Grant Ressmeyer, tackled by Jamison Cooper. Cooper, a senior linebacker, 5'11", 190. He and Clay Holford have been leaders from their inside linebacking positions. Hebron coming off of their best half of defensive football a week ago in the win at Plano East. But tonight, a bit porous in the early go. Ressmeyer to throw. 3-step drop, no pressure. Swings it to the boundary, caught at the 25, and knocked out of bounds immediately on the play. The short-handed Jeremiah Campbell by the cover corner in Jelani Heath. Moved the sticks one more time, and the fresh set of downs on the 14-yard completion. Grant Ressmeyer to Jeremiah Campbell.
We heard everything about Scrivens coming into this game, but Ressmeyer is doing a good job of hitting receivers that are open.
That's an impressive arm and a quick release. Again, the junior at 6'3", hands it to Scrivens, looking for an alley, finds a wrinkle between the guards, and puts the head down in traffic, and squirts from the 25 for the gain of 9 before Corey Eberhardt and Jamison Cooper can collectively tie the socks together of the elusive senior running back, 5'9" and 195, the measurables on Dedrick Scrivens. Very quickly happens for 9 on first down, 2nd and 1 from Hebron 16. Swing a pass, caught at the 10, and fighting it down to the 8-yard line is Jeremiah Campbell. On the cover and the and the tackle is Jelani Heath. Late cover by Heath, and had to hold on for dear life to bring down Campbell at the 8-yard line. First down and goal, McKinney Boyd. Now, I don't think Boyd has any thoughts at all about wanting to see any of Denton Geyer's Wildcats in the first round. They have really come out of here with bounce in their step, very productive offensively. First and goal from the 8 running play. Scrivens inside, bounces off of a Holford blow. Now here comes help, and Scrivens is mauled back to the 9-yard line, the loss of 1. That's a big blow by Holford that stunned Scrivens, and then that allowed his partners to come out of that linebacking core, Cooper, Shagoya, and Corey Eberhardt, and they're able to rack down and help Clay bring down Scrivens, the loss of 1.
A few times tonight we've seen late at the end of the play, the ball has actually come out. The refs are ruling that he's been down, but it could be a factor later in the game.
And then they're emphatic about saying that the guy was down. Now from the left hash, second down goal from the 10-yard line. Ressmeyer rolls the pocket right. Cox fires fade route in the air for Cassidy over the top of Cassidy. And the tight cover of Jelani Heath. Threw it too deep in the end zone. It caroms out of the end zone, and it goes incomplete. Now Boyd confronted with third down and goal from the 9-yard line.
Jelani Heath's right there for the coverage. Cassidy actually has 2 hands on Heath's back. The ball was just a little overthrown. He was unable to bring it in.
He was ready for the push. It would have been catchable. Jeremiah Cassidy, the widest of 2 receivers to the right, 2 cut to the left also. That's Scrivens, slot right. Ressmeyer out of a shotgun. He'll drop the throw. He'll look right. He'll throw in the end zone. Fade route. Scrivens, that's caught. Touchdown. And Dedrick Scrivens caught that a step or 2 in front of Omar Hicks-Onu. It goes for the 10-yard touchdown, converting third down goal from the 10-yard line.
Cassidy started out wide that play and just cut straight across, and everybody was kind of keying on him. The ball was lobbed up. Scrivens able to pull it in.
Dedrick Scrivens latches on to his third touchdown reception of the year as Drew Smith bangs through the point after touchdown. 3:13 remaining first quarter. And look at Boyd. They've posted 3 markers on the board. The new count as we go to timeout. McKinney Boyd 21, Hebron nothing on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on the all-new 2013 Huffines Dodge Starts. Only $269 a month on new Huffines Ram Quad Cabs. Or only $279 a month on new Huffines Ram Crew Cabs. At both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huffines has it.
Well, for Boyd and quarterback Grant Resmeyer, the gunslinger of a right-hander, the junior at 6'3", 190. Touchdown toss number 17 on the year, number 2 on the evening. And as I mentioned, for Scrivens, that's a third touchdown catch. His 20th touchdown was 17 rushing. Little pooch kick from Drew Smith, and that's caught by an upback in David Brazel at his 30-yard line, and Brazel will move his way out to the 35 and push back there by Keaton Livingston. Livingston will stay on the field and play safety along with Boone Pate, the other safety for Boyd. The corners are Parker Noren along with Armani Jenkins. And here's a Hebron offense that has been like watching a bobber on a day when the fish aren't biting thus far.
They need to get ahead of the chains. That's something that's hurt them all year and something that's hurt them early tonight. They need a good first down play.
It's an I formation. It's Dodd with that little baby toss to Garbett, and Boyd knows what's coming, and they are just gang tackling Angelo Garbett. That charge was led by outside linebacker Braden McFadden as Angelo in a crowd picks up 2, second down and 8 Hebron. Angelo running behind right guard Jared Farley, right tackle Hayden Seeley, and not much room there as time expires in a first quarter that's painted all navy blue and red of McKinney Boyd through 1 at Hawk Stadium. Our count, the Boyd Broncos 21, the Hebron Hawks nothing on Champion Sports Radio.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
As we move play from quarter number 1 to quarter number 2, the ball clubs will, of course, change ends of the field. A chance for us to doff our cap, West. One of the really good dads on this Hebron football program, particularly over the last 3 years, in Sky Holford. That's Clay's dad. And we understand that Sky happens to be listening in tonight to Hawk football from Cincinnati, the Queen City, up there with a new job opportunities. I understand. Good luck with that, and glad to have you along. One Sky Holford. Hebron Hawk football on a Friday night. What else? There's a miss exchange, center to quarterback, and it's jumped on by Richard Dodd, and Hebron will waste a second down and 8 play on the malfunction at the junction between Brian Drew, the center, and Richard Dodd, the sophomore quarterback. In fact, lose a yard on it. Third down, 9 Hebron.
Third and long. Christian Dawson checks in the game. Watch for the jet sweep.
Dawson stationed at a slot to the left side. 2 receivers that way, 1 right. Dodd out of a gun. Dodd to throw, looks to the post, throws to the post. Way too tall for the intended receiver, Derek Mueller, who far and away is Hebron's most successful receiver with 17 catches on the year. The next guy being tight end Joe Martin with 2. but that one's simply uncatchable, sailing way overhead. And on 4th down and 9, Hebron will bring on, I believe that's Coyne Harris, to punt it away to Dedrick Scrivens. Into a little bit of a breeze. Stanton Turley to make the long pass. Pull down. Harris going to run with it on a attempted fake punt, but it's solved by McFadden and thrown down is Coyne Harris back at the Hebron 25-yard line. A loss of 9 on the fake punt attempt, and going downhill now and bounding for joy over there on the far boundary of the McKinney Boyd Broncos.
I don't know if that was a design fake punt or not, but Brandon McFadden came in unblocked, and Coyne Harris saw him and knew there was no way he was going to get the punt off and decided to cut it to the right and try to escape.
I agree with you. I don't think that was by design, because there was no help out there, and Coyne Harris was in no man's land, and McFadden catches him and throws him down like a rag doll on top of the 25-yard line. Well, here's Ressmeyer and company, a short field from the 25. See if they go home run off the turnover. They do, throwing deep in the end zone and caught. Foot down, yes or no? Waiting for a call. Touchdown, caught by Cassidy Woods near the sideline of the end zone, near side. I thought I saw him get a foot down, clearly in bounds, and it goes for a 25-yard, 4th touchdown of the evening. 25-yard pass, Ressmeyer to Cassidy Woods.
And I think that's something McKinney Boyd knew that they were going to be able to do tonight. Cassidy Woods, 6'2", being defended by Colton Chaplin, 5'10", and Ressmeyer just able to throw it up in the back of the end zone.
Drew Smith, the right-footed sidewinder, a busy Bronco thus far. 4 of 4 now for Smith in the point after touchdown department. We go to break early second quarter. And Boyd, well, the Broncos running away and hiding from the Hawks. It's McKinney Boyd 28, Hebron nothing.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship social media.
Wes Grant Ressmeyer's had a pretty good game in the first quarter plus.
He has, able there to come off the turnover. One play, 25-yard pass to Cassidy Woods. Boyd up 28-0.
Again, the well-used right instep of one Drew Smith. Boyd to approach. And leather meets leather. That little chip shot's going to be fielded by, I think that's David Brasley at the 33, and he'll carry to the 38-yard line, banged down by one Boone Tate on the kickoff coverage team for Don Drake's Boyd Broncos. And here's the offensive unit for Hebron, still looking for their initial first down in the ballgame.
Grant Ressmeyer, 8 completions on 10 attempts, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I believe that'd be 3 touchdowns.
3.
Yeah, 3 in fact for Ressmeyer, no matter what it says on the screen. Here's Dodd firing to the post. That's caught for a 7-yard gain. Very nice catch in traffic did by Mueller. And he's just leveled by Keaton Livingston, the safety, the gain of a half dozen. And a nice grab again by the leading receiver, Derek Mueller, catch number 18 on the year, the first completion of the night for the Hawks at the 10:50 mark, second quarter.
And that's a good first down play. That's Hebron. That's what Hebron needs to do.
They'll go out of shotgun, left to the quarterback is Garbett. He'll take a handoff, could a head down, drive for Hebron's initial first down. He'll see midfield working for 5 yards from his 46-yard line to the 49 in Bronco territory. And the offense gets a hand. Joshua Stewart's a good nose guard, 6-foot junior at 200 pounds, and he'll fight with Brian Drew throughout the evening. And Drew knocks him out of the neutral zone, but it's Josh Stewart on the tackle of Angelo Garbett, and one of Angelo's few carries for positive yards thus far. Well, looking for some crooked numbers. The Hawks earn their first down. Now in enemy territory. Off tackle left side, upended line of scrimmage. Good open field tackle on the quarterback. Richard Dodd, registered by Ross Madisick, an outside linebacker. One of the seniors, 6'1", 215.
And that's a good play by Madisick. Garbett goes in, tries to cut him, but he's able to sidestep him and make the tackle on Dodd.
We haven't seen McKinney Boyd in several years. Hebron never has played Boyd, but early on, I'm looking on with mouth agape, mighty impressed with this Bronco outfit. Good offensively, very good defensive football team. Dodd to throw, quickly, outside, other way, pass is caught, and that's Hicks Omar Hicks Onu, easy for you to say. The catch at the 43, the gain of 6, the tackle to the cornerback in Parker Norin. And it's a possession down for Hebron in Bronco territory at the 43. 3rd down and 4.
I believe that is Omar's initial catch of the season.
Well, I believe you're right on the money. No, I beg your pardon. Remember, he caught the tip ball deep early against Allen. Look out. Here's Dodd off tackle right side, rambling for a first down. The Hebron quarterback from the 43 will go for 9 down to the 34-yard line before Ron DeBoo can get an angle in the linebacker for Boyd, tackling the runaway sophomore quarterback in Richard Dodd at the 34.
And that's a good decision by Dodd. We've seen early in the game he's tried to get it to the corner, and they've just stretched him out. That time he takes it up the right side of the line, able to get some positive yards.
Dodd with Garbett in the backfield, offset to his left. Calls for the football out of a shotgun from the 34. In Boyd territory, Hebron down big, 28-0. Running play, Angelo Garbett slashes off between the left side of the guard, the tackle over there, and puts the head down from the 34, gains 4. And Braden McFadden there with the stop sign, but another good play on first down for Hebron, as that playbook, Wes, on 2nd down and 6, far thicker and far more desirable than 2nd down 10 or 12.
It is, and it makes Hebron's life a lot easier with Garbett.
Working now from the Bronco 30. Dodd out of a gun, looks to throw, looks to the left, fires to the left, and that's caught, and that's Hicks Onu. The catch at the 25-yard line, the carry down just inside the 20 to near the 19, and yet another first down. Hebron offensively with some second quarter rhythm.
3 first downs on this drive so far. Let's see if they can keep it going, punch one in the end zone.
Trailing by 4 scores. But this is the first time that Boyd's defense looks like they're a bit on their heels. Richard Dodd sets his ball club down at the Boyd 19 right hash mark. He'll go running play, wide right. Garbett strung out. Garbett fights his way, can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Ridden all the way down by DeBoo, the linebacker, inside backer, scraping off and making early contact behind the line on Garbett and just wouldn't let go. And finally rode Angelo out of bounds for a 2-yard loss back to the 21.
And you can see DeBoo's kind of spying on Angelo. He kind of sat there in the middle of the field, saw Angelo got the ball, and tailed him all the way over to the sideline.
Dodd with Hicks Onu wide left. Mueller wide right. Trey Pugh into the game at running back. Here's Dodd. Movement up front. Flags and whistles will indicate a dead ball infraction was cited. Our officiating crew headed up by the man in the white hat, our referee Joel Williams. He'll confer with his colleagues, umpire Clark Rogers. Head linesman Greg Hicks, offsides defensively against Boyd, will give Hebron a free 5. I think that was a linebacker threatening a blitz across the way in Madisick, and he was caught off bounds. The line judge, Adam Torma, and the back judge, Mr. Jared Vinaya. And again, the man ahead of the officiating crew, referee Joel Williams. The 5-yard markup puts it at the 16 from there in Bronco territory for Hebron, 2nd down and 7. Hawks working from the right hash. Snap to Dodd. He wants to throw. Now he's going to scramble. He's going to dance. He's going to fumble. He's going to lose the football, and Boyd recovers above Hebron's 20, or the Boyd 20 at the 22-yard line. coming away with it is Braden McFadden. The guy who hit it and separated it from Dodd while he was dancing was outside linebacker Ross Matisic. Matisic causes it. Fellow outside linebacker Braden McFadden recovers it at the 22. And Boyd lives to tell about Hebron's most promising offensive possession to date.
And Dodd felt the pressure coming in. He tried to scramble, saw Matisic, turned around, and Matisic just popped him in the back, and the ball popped up.
In hockey, they call it a poke check, and that's exactly what he did. Poke checked it loose, and it bounds into the grasp of McFadden. Going the other way, leading 28-0. Here's a handoff. Look out, that Scrivens into the backfield. Just about to break it out to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, and a jersey tackle by Corey Eberhardt saved the 78-yard touchdown from Dedrick Scrivens.
And that's a good job.
Almost gone, but shirt-tailed down by Eberhardt.
Eberhardt holding on for dear life, and Scrivens actually comes up limping after that tackle.
Dedrick Scrivens wears the straight number, red 1 on the white jersey, and sporting the gold shoes. Boy, there's a nice play fake by Ressmeyer, faking to Scrivens, keeping off the left tackle and nobody there. 50-45 to the 40 to the 30. Grant Ressmeyer rambles all the way down to the Hebron 26-yard line before tackled near the boundary by Antoine Partee.
Corey Eberhardt came off the edge, went immediately for the tackle of Scrivens, and Ressmeyer just pulled the ball right out of Scrivens' belly and took it up the side.
And Grant Ressmeyer needs to pat his running back, Mr. Scrivens, on the back to say thanks for drawing a crowd, being a magnet, because that really opened up for Ressmeyer. Here they hand it to Scrivens. He'll go inside, bounce outside, ricochet wide to the right side, carry to the 20, carry to the 19-yard line. The gain of 7 for Scrivens to the 19 across the way to tackle nose guard Jarrett Lee of Hebron. Boy, that's an impressive 7-yard run right there by Dedrick Scrivens. Hebron will call a timeout defensively. We'll do the same. Stop the clock. Second quarter, 5:55 until halftime. We continue at the Boyd Broncos 28, the Hebron Hawks nothing.
The end is here. To get Huff Heinz' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Heinz Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on new Huff Heinz Jeep Liberties. Only $269 a month on new Huff Heinz Chrysler 200s. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Jeep Grand Cherokees or Dodge Durangos. At both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Heinz has it.
Well, Hebron burns a defensive timeout, and they're huddled around 6-year coordinator Eric Mock. And Mr. Mock exhorting his defensive unit to do something they haven't done yet this evening, and that's slow down this Boyd offensive unit.
That's right. We looked at Ressmeyer's numbers before the game. He didn't have many rushing numbers. We thought, maybe he kind of sat in the pocket, wasn't that agile, but he's proved he can run the ball tonight.
Yes, he has, and a good point, because he averaged less than a yard a carry. Ressmeyer, after the timeout in the passing pocket, going to launch it long, deep corner of the end zone and far too deep for the intended receiver, Jeremiah Campbell. Finally, late to pressure from linebacker Clay Holford.
And that's good coverage by Jelani Heath. Able to stick with his man the whole time. Ressmeyer just had nowhere to go with it, threw it out of the back of the end zone.
Third down and 3 from the 19 in Hebron territory. The Broncos working from the hash mark across the way with sidelines right, open field left side. One receiver right, 2 left. Running play, Scrivens inside, look out, he'll blow it and say so long very, very quickly off of left guard, and then that stutter step, the kind of thing you just don't coach, where he goes sideways that fast and then kicks in the jets and blows it in from 19 yards away.
Yeah, it looked like Clay Holford had him dead to rights, and Scrivens just juked to the left and shot it up the middle and was gone.
Rushing touchdown number 18 for Mr. Scrivens. Drew Smith will boot it out of McFadden's hold. The snap, the spot, the kick. How about perfect for Drew Smith? 5 of 5 point after touchdowns, and that one splitting the uprights. As we go to a second quarter break at the 5:43 mark until halftime. And Boyd lighting up Hebron in the first half. It's McKinney Boyd 35 and Hebron nothing on Champion Sports Radio.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
Well, Boyd cashing in on the Hebron gratuity at the Dodd fumble, and they go 78 yards and cover that in a minute 27. Scrivens, the final 19 steps. Here's Drew Smith. High boot, and that's going to be caught in the end zone by Omar Hicks-Onu, and he'll think about bringing it out, then go down on a knee, and Hebron will work from their 25-yard line. Down by 5 touchdowns at 35-0.
Dedrick Scrivens so far on the night, 8 carries, 75 yards, and the 1 rushing touchdown. Plus the receiving touchdown also in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's been a factor. This is a Boyd football team that looks like they're going to be able to avoid Geyer in the first round, and they may make some hay.
They may.
Hebron going with the Wildcat, and they're way out of sync, and Angelo Garbett calling for the football, and Brian Drew up there at center not snapping it on time. Either that or Garbett was garbled with his cadence because everything out of sync, and the flag thrown, and the dead ball false start will put Hebron one more time, big time, behind the chains at first down and 15. They'll stay in that Wildcat look with the direct snap to Angelo Garbett. Saw quite a bit of this in the Plano West game a couple of weeks ago. Here's Garbett, right side of the line, puts the head down in a crowd, and will carry for the gain of 2.5, and that's all. Went behind Farley and Drew and ran into the rapid defensive end Noah Prater. Gain of 2, second down and 13.
Noah Prater just able to come off the edge and chase Garbett down as he was getting up to the line.
Hebron in those, what Coach Brazel called the old Nike blue uniforms that he said, quite frankly, I thought we had gone to the JV with those, but the seniors wanted to wear them. And not easy for the play-by-play guy to see the black number on the blue jersey. But I can tell you, this is Angelo Garbett trying to knock on the door wide left, and the door will not open. In fact, slammed in his face by the tandem of defensive end Noah Prater and that busy linebacker in Ross Matisic. And third down in the bunch, Hebron still needs 13. The line of scrimmage is the Hawks' 22-yard line. Christian Dawson, slot left. Derek Mueller is wide to the left side. And Dodd on third down and forever. Looking the other way, firing to the boundary and incomplete. No flag on the play. Now there is a late flag and should be pass interference on Noren. Parker Noren, the cover guy on Hebron's intended receiver. And Hebron ought to get a free first down out of this. That is Jalen Slater across the way, the intended receiver. Our officials huddling right now, and here's referee Joel Williams with the call. Pass interference defensively, and that's exactly what I saw. Quite frankly, Parker Noren was there not even just a little bit early.
Yeah, Parker Noren reached around, actually grabbed the front of Jalen Slater's jersey as he was trying to catch it. First down Hebron, that's what they needed. They need to get ahead of the chains this series.
And the official closest to the play was the one who was emphatically saying incomplete pass. And then the back judge, obviously the wiser of the two, came in and threw the delinquent flag, and Hebron gets a free first on the 15-yard infraction.
He threw that flag probably about 30 yards.
Maybe the head linesman he says, I'll call it complete or incomplete. You call the interference. And our back judge, Jared Benyaya, did just that. Hebron from the 33. Dodd in the pocket. Pulled down on a sack. And in the open field, that's Braden McFadden, who was flying by Richard Dodd and just able to reach out and get a hand and spin down the sophomore quarterback. The loss of 5 to the 28. Losers of 2 of their first 3. And then suffered a loss to Plano West in a third district ball game, 62-30. Well, here in the backfield, Hebron unable to do a thing. They tried to go with the little jet reverse to Dawson, and Braden McFadden solves it, and the loss back to the 23-yard line.
Same exact thing on that play. He just comes from the edge, untouched, and able to tackle Trey Pugh right there.
Or it was Trey Pugh, rather, on the carry. Hebron now confronted with a very solid 3rd down and 20. Line of scrimmage back to the Hawk 23-yard line. Trying to milk that play clock and slow this thing down. Because when Boyd gets it, I can assure you they can be explosive. And it's Dodd at quarterback. His 3 receivers are to the left. He's in the passing pocket. He's running out of the pocket, and he's going to be clobbered and sacked back at the 20-yard line. And peel him off, and that's Matisic, who's just pinning the ears back and living in Hebron's backfield. Another sack at Hawks Stadium.
McKinney Boyd isn't putting
off a short hop and kicks it off the side of the foot, and it'll surface in Hebron territory. It'll stay in Hawk territory. Coming down at the 41 and dying very quickly at the 43-yard line with 2:04 until halftime. And Hebron trying to live through a first couple of quarters that have thus far been nothing short of a Game 10 nightmare, trailing 35-0. It is good to see David Brazel. He's coming off the field now, but playing quite a bit at defensive end, coming off of a foot injury that has sidelined David since the Allen game back in week number 5. Here's Grant Westmeyer, Dedrick Scrivens, and the gang working in Hebron territory. Oh, they schemed him. Throw it out in the far flat. That's complete to Bowling. The catch at the 40, the carry to the 30, and down the sideline goes Brandon Bowling to Hebron's 20-yard line, the gain of 23. The tackle made by Hicks Onu. We heard from Bowling on the 101-yard kickoff return of the game's opening kickoff, and now they scheme Hebron. Nobody covers him in the far flat. More on the carry after the catch, all in all, 23.
Hebron's corner and safety both follow Campbell, and Bowling's wide open.
Hebron trying to dig in defensively and get a stop would be their first of the night. Here's Westmeyer, fires it across the way, caught at the 15, tackled at the 13, a gain of 7 on the far sideline. On the catch is Jeremiah Campbell. And the tackle for Hebron goes to Antoine Partee. It's 2nd down and 3 from the Hawk 13. Across the front, Quintana Alvarez, Morse, Gulick, and Robinson for Boyd, and having their way. Again, a throw play and a catch inside the 5, scrambling to the goal line, and touchdown for the Boyd Broncos from 13 yards away. And on the catch is Jeremiah Campbell, and a circus move by Campbell spinning towards the boundary, put a landing gear down in the right hand, and stays on his feet and drives it into the end zone, the 13-yard touchdown.
And that's just a good athletic play. He knew where he needed to get and just able to reach out to break the plane.
A Drew Smith point after touchdown is on the way. And Mr. Smith one more time on the board, and that stretches the Boyd lead to a double take as we look at the scoreboard and report the tally here with 1:17 until halftime of McKinney Boyd 42 and Hebron nothing.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be three things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Weston Lynch, nothing more than a first-half clinic provided here by the Boyd Broncos, leading Hebron now 42-0.
It has been. Boyd has been able to do what they want when they want, and Hebron's got to come up and get a score here before the half ends.
Smith, a kickoff. Hicks Onu sees it carry him off his hands into the end zone and goes down on an end with 1:17 until we call it a ceasefire. Hebron will go to work from the 25-yard line. Well, Hebron's given up some big numbers thus far, but never 42 in a pass. I want to welcome Private First Class Chandler Dumas, U.S. Marine Corps, Hebron class of 2014. Cliff Wisenhunt, our public address announcer, by the way, handing us that note. And by the way, Wes, we doff our cap to the years of service of one Cliff Wisenhunt. Handoff, carry, garbage, nothing, left tackle, and no gain on the play. And I'll make you wish one of those linebackers. Yeah, it's McFadden in on the stop. But Cliff Wisenhunt, public address announcer extraordinaire, I might add, here at Hawk Stadium for many a year, said early on going into the year, this is my last year. We confirmed that tonight. He said, nope, this is it. I've enjoyed every moment of it and look forward to passing the baton, passing the gauntlet.
Cliff's been a good friend, and we'll be sad to see him go, but I'm sure he's going to, enjoy his time off on Friday nights.
And we'll enjoy Hawk football, I can assure you that. Here's Dodd wanting to throw, under pressure, scrambling, going to keep it and going to carry, and going to be tagged down at the 29-yard line. My heavens. You talk about bringing the wood, and Boyd does it right there as they really stone Richard Dodd. That's a big blow, sophomore on sophomore. Blake Burton, an inside linebacker, packs some whack at 5'9" and 180, and he just stoned Dodd in his tracks after the scramble of 5 yards.
And it's Braden McFadden getting in the backfield again, disrupting that play.
Well, the final seconds will slip away, and now we have come to the conclusion of half number one at Hawk Stadium. Close the curtain on the Hebron Hawks 2014 campaign with this one tonight, game number 10. Hebron on the outside looking in as far as playoffs are concerned. Hey, this McKinney Boyd bunch, they have punched their ticket. They've earned the playoff spot, one of 4 issued out of District 6A. And the Boyd Broncos look to be on their way to advancing to the second season as the top seed out of 6A in Class 6A's Division II. And good for Don Drake and his bunch. They have it rolling their way in search of a 5th consecutive win, and I'd say they're well on their way. At halftime, our score, McKinney Boyd 42 and Hebron nothing. Our halftime programming is up next. You're listening to Hebron Hawk Football.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Take your choice and pay just $269 a month on new Chrysler Town & Countries or Dodge Grand Caravans. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Chrysler 300s or Dodge Chargers at both locations of Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the team and advertise during these games. Advertising during high school broadcasts allows your business to reach thousands of local fans right from your community. We use the latest technology in sports broadcasting so that fans at the game will be able to listen live to the broadcast and the commercials. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all of these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply cannot be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck. And best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow at Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/championsportsradio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter at Champion Sports and facebook.com/championsportsradio, your home for championship social media.
The Hebron Hawks are on Champion Sports Radio. This broadcast of Louisville ISD football is sponsored by Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, where they provide everything automotive along with superb customer service with a new or used Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, or Ram from Huff Hines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano. Well, you get a reliable, you get a stylish new car, and you'll get that vehicle at a price that doesn't break the bank. By Whirly Ball, with 2 locations to serve you, in Plano and also in Hurst. At both locations, leagues are forming right now. Visit them online at whirlyball.info. By In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and a marketing company. Find them online at incommandbroadcasting.com. By Point of Origin Design, a full-service design and logo creation company offering a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products online at pointoforigindesign.com. By ShockboxDFW.com. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. By the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra and the new GDYO Jazz Institute. You're invited to enjoy a cultural experience with your family, and you can do it without breaking the bank. Visit gdyo.org for more information. Hebron Hawks football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio on Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and of course online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. Between the halves here, all Boyd, the McKinney Boyd Broncos blistering the Hebron Hawks to a tune of 42-0 through 2 quarters of play, but Weston Lynch not all bad athletically at Hebron. In fact, all's grand in Hawkland as far as the volleyballers are concerned. Hey, Coach McKinney with yet another crackerjack outfit that advances out of District 6-6A into the playoffs. Take care of Trophy Club Byron Nelson in Tuesday's by-district, and it's on to round number 2 this evening. And you tell me that a match that was staged at Arlington Lamar High School, the Hawks have no problems with the Eagles.
No problems at all. They faced DeSoto tonight. They win the first set 25-10, second set 25-8, and third set 25-14 to take the sweep. And I tell you what, Coach McKinney, she's always got her girls prepared when it comes playoff times to be playing their best volleyball. They've won a couple state championships and have always made deep runs going in.
The Hebron volleyball team is 29 wins and 12 losses. As I just get on my feet right now. If I had time, I'd straighten it up because one John Albert Clark has stepped into the broadcast booth here at halftime. And Coach Clark has a vested interest. I'd love that, Wes, if you'd hand Coach Clark a headset and we can talk some things. Has a vested interest in Hebron Hawk football. We'll talk to John about that in just a minute. And John, welcome in. Thanks for just doing this on the spur of the moment, and why not?
Well, thank you, Brad. Always good to see you.
You've got a real interest in what happens with Hebron Hawks because you're just as fond as the head coach and Brian Brazel as I am, and you maybe have a better reason to be fond of him.
Well, I've just known his family. His dad and I grew up together in
Jacksonville, Texas.
Jacksonville, Texas. Played every sport there was that they'd let us play, which was just about all of them. So he was one end, I was the other end. We played basketball and a little bit of everything together.
It's always fun to see Charlie Brazel when he comes here, and it's really quite frequently, and it just warms my soul to see him. Now, Brian's kind of licking his wounds here after a couple of quarters, but one thing that Brian always tells me that, I got to have lunch with Coach Clark, Brad, and I said, how's John? He says, he's doing just terrific, and he always lays something that I grab and cherish. And I think the last time he told me that Coach Clark told me don't forget to savor the victories because you said you're not sure that you did as much as you could have.
Well, that's right, but they're all good, and anytime you win, it's good, and of course, if you're in it long enough, you're going to have
you're going to get tagged a time or two.
You sure are, and those help you in the long run. It's not very much fun when you don't, but it helps you in the long run, makes you evaluate everything, what you're doing. And
John, I want you to just stand there and look at the top of your shoes for a minute or two because I'm going to introduce you, and you're always embarrassed when I do, but his name's John Clark, and what we hear most of the time when we hear his name these days is one of the Plano Independent School District facilities, and it's a beauty, is John Clark Field. They want to call it stadium now, but it was broken in as a field, and I'm still going to call it field, John. And there's a reason why they named the facility after this man, because he gave a lot to youngsters in the state of Texas and youngsters in the Plano Independent School District particularly. John was brought to Plano, actually, to help out with the basketball program. And he ended up coaching some football and did a pretty good job of coaching some football. How about from the years 1966, a decade, through the 1975 season? Well, a 1967 Class 2A state championship, a 1971 Class 3A state championship, and all in all, John, you win 117 and lose, I believe it was 7 ball games in total. And I just always was amazed of what you're able to do as a coach. And before you even comment on that, you carried on the tradition as the athletic director of that exploding school district at the time from, 1976 to the early 90s. It was fun. You've earned retirement. I hope you're enjoying it.
Well, I came to Plano at a good time, Brad, and had good athletes and had a good school district and a good community. And it was nice to come to a place and be able to kind of grow with the school. and we went from 2A to 3A to 4A to 5A and right on up to.
Heck, now we're 6A. At least that's what we're calling it.
Yeah, they call it a little bit different these days. No more Class B.
I had an interesting week last week, John. It's always home week for me after covering the Plano schools for not years but decades. And track in Hebron, we go over there and play at Coach Kimbrough Stadium over in Murphy and play Plano East. And it's the first time I've got to work a ball game with Coach Joey McCullough as the head coach over there at East. And I told Joey before the ball game that everything I hear from Plano people that I know, they're just as confident as they can be that they have the right man over at the East program. And you know those McCulloughs, and they've earned that right to be the first family of Plano football, haven't they?
Well, they sure have. They both he and J. Don were great players for us and made us look good when they were playing. Now they're making us look good when they're coaching.
You know, every once in a while, maybe more frequently as the younger we get, somebody will say something make you feel your age. And Joey McCullough looked and said, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have the same man that broadcasted my games as a player work on with me as a head coach. I said, Joey, that was just yesterday to me. But we had some fun. And, yeah, Joey McCullough was a big part of the early Mike Bailey ball clubs who really put Plano East on the map there in the mid-'80s. Joey McCullough was a big part of that thing, and it's nice to have him in the district. Coach McCullough, Joey, by the way, in Plano East, like Hebron on the outside looking in, but it looks like J-Don and the kiddos over there in the Chicago Maroon, the Wildcats, they've punched their playoff ticket. They had a very, very good year.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, and they deserve it because they put a lot of work in to get there. So it's nice to see them
we'll
get back on that side of the ledger.
We'll see how they do. Now tell me you're okay, because I know you've had people working on your lower part of your body, ankles and what have you.
I'm doing well.
You look like you're getting along pretty good.
Yeah.
Made your way down to this booth.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate it, but I think I got ways to go, but getting better all along. So I appreciate it.
Family good?
Pretty good.
Shake my hand.
All right.
No, it's good to see you and know how I feel about you, John.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
The feeling's mutual.
Yeah, there it is. I tell you, you have the opportunity to come across some people in life that you just treasure as a friend and, quite frankly, as a mentor. And one, John Elbert Clark, is one of those to not only me, but a whole lot of people, Weston, through the years that I got the benefit by being players for him for those years when he was coaching in Plano and just being in his athletic department for those years when he was the AD and orchestrating a part of the growth, at least the athletic arm of things, when Plano East opened in the early 80s and on the way, and when it was just busting at the seams before they opened up Plano West Senior High School.
You
what
know,
a good man.
Coach Clark walks in the room. I've never been in the same room as him, and I can just see the mutual respect you guys have between each other. And it was a very cool atmosphere to be in, seeing you two talk the way you do.
Well, it's like I said, if I had on a tie, I'd be pulling it up tight when John walks into the room. You tuck your shirt tail in, and you wish you had a haircut. If it is, I think we were talking volleyball, and for good reason. The Hebron Hawks with the win tonight, and they do sweep DeSoto and easily in the 3-game set. Coach McKinney will ring up a 30 in the win column against 12 losses. And what's interesting on this thing, if I'm reading the brackets right, and I read a few brackets in time, if they have these things printed right, Hebron will tangle with the winner of Colleyville Heritage and Flower Mound in round number 3. Well, in Heritage, all you have is the numbers to live to tell about Colleyville are up for it. And Wes, as you say, that's a volleyball program that just keeps on keeping on, even after being realigned in the 9-team district with the Plano schools and the Allen, and they still find a way, even against what I would consider deeper and perhaps tougher competition than the last couple of years in the old District 5A.
They do. I mean, sometimes they'll come out in playoffs, be the 3rd seed, and they'll end up running into one of those district mates that was the number 1 seed, and they'll get that win in playoffs, and that's just something they've done over the years, and that's what's made them so successful.
if you give a listen in the background, you'll hear the sounds of the Hebron High School marching band, and I'm not all that sure on the details. Cliff Wisenhunt has darkened the door, and at halftime here, maybe he can give me the knowing nod of approval, but they're just coming off of the statewide UIL competition and finished number 2 statewide. And I tell you, from the backyard of my house, I can hear them blowing horns before daylight in the morning, and I know how hard those young people work. So congratulations to a group that we knew was special, because we get to witness their act Friday night in and Friday night out, and they do turn halftime into showtime doing just that. Again tonight, a cavalcade of colors, the Silver Wings drill team with a high-step routine, and everything good except for that scoreboard that tells a tale of McKinney boy dominating Hebron through 2 quarters of play to a tune of 42-0. We go to break here, come back, look at the scoring summary, and it's all Boyd, 42-0, Broncos over the Hawks.
The end is here. To get Huff Heinz' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Heinz Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on the all-new 2013 Huff Heinz Dodge Starts. Only $269 a month on new Huff Heinz Ram Quad Cabs. Or only $279 a month on new Huff Heinz Ram Crew Cabs. At both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Heinz has it.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the number 1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute, online at gdyo.org/jazz.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Along with Weston Lynch, I'm Brad Denton. We're Champion Sports Radio. We present the regular season finale this evening from Hawk Stadium as the McKinney Boyd Broncos in to call on the homestanding Hebron Hawks. Hebron into it 2 wins and 7 losses. And the Boyd Broncos at 6 up and 3 down through 9 ball games. And, boy, either team really playing to their record, so to speak, with Boyd's halftime lead at 42-0. And they got there, and they did it, Wes, well, in a hurry. How about the opening kickoff of the ball game? Gathered in by the one Brandon Bowling, a yard deep into the end zone. He decided he'd bring it out, and, about to the 20 on the right hash mark, and then veered to the near boundary and at the numbers by the 30. And he was waving bye-bye to the Hawks by the time he was striding over midfield and then left a vapor trail down the near boundary. 101-yard kickoff return of the game's opening kickoff by Brandon Bowling. And that was then we brought on the first we'd see of a very busy Boyd kicker named Drew Smith. A-OK, point after touchdown, 13 seconds into the ball game, 7-0 Boyd. Well, for Hebron, it went downhill from there. The Hawks unable to generate any offense whatsoever through the first quarter of play. In fact, it was into the second quarter before Hebron mounted a drive and 3 first downs and ended up with the promising drive coming out with the pockets empty, no points due to a fumble. But back to that first quarter, on the first possession offensively for Boyd, they were very handsome, marching 7 plays, 65 yards, did it just under 3 minutes, and scored with 6:44 that first quarter on the first quarter clock on a 32-yard touchdown pass by junior quarterback Grant Ressmeyer. We've been very impressed with Mr. Ressmeyer on a touchdown pass, 32 yards, and it was snagged by Jeremiah Campbell, his favorite receiver. And on came Drew Smith, 14-0 Boyd. Make it 21-0 Boyd Broncos before we get out of that first quarter, as they score at the 3:13 mark of the first frame on a 9-play, 69-yard drive. Chewed up 4.5 minutes of the first quarter clock and go airborne one more time. Ressmeyer, the 10-yard touchdown pass on the fade to Dedrick Scrivens in the near corner of the end zone. Nobody close to Scrivens. Drew Smith, point after, 21-0. Play rolls into the second quarter, not deep into that second quarter. In fact, only 45 seconds into quarter number 2, when Boyd takes advantage of a Hebron turnover. And after the turnover, well, that was the fake punt, as a matter of fact. They turned the ball over on downs and garnered the possession at Hebron's 25-yard line. Well, play number 1, they go home run after gaining the possession in plus territory. The 25-yard Grant Ressmeyer pass pulled in on a beautiful catch by Cassidy Woods deep in the end zone and near the sideline. He gets a foot down very clearly. Touchdown Boyd. Drew Smith, point after, 28-0, very, very early second quarter. Boyd obviously wasn't done in that second frame. At the 5:43 mark, they strike again, this off of a Hebron fumble. That was the drive I mentioned earlier, perhaps the only positive possession when Hebron had some rhythm going offensively, but the quarterback was sacked and fumbled and recovered at the Boyd 22-yard line. Not a problem. 78 yards later, at the a minute 27 later, and 78 yards later, a 19-yard Dedrick Scrivens touchdown run, and it was a thing of beauty. As you mentioned, it looked like Hebron linebacker and a good one in Clay Holford had a pretty clear shot at him, but almost like a Barry Sanders-like move sideways. Don't know how he does it, but he does it. Moves directly sideways with one step and then steps on the accelerator and blows it for a 19-yard touchdown run. 18th rushing touchdown for Mr. Scrivens on the year. Drew Smith, point after, 35-0. And then the final tally for the Broncos at 1:17 of the second quarter. They go airborne, a 13-yard touchdown pass, Grant Ressmeyer, to one more time, Jeremiah Campbell. For Campbell, a touchdown reception, number 6 on the year. And for Grant Ressmeyer, 15 touchdown tosses into the ball game. Add 3 more, and he's now sitting at 18 touchdown passes in his junior year here in the regular season finale. But all Boyd, Weston 42-0.
It is. A few stats for you. McKinney, Boyd, Grant, Restmeyer, 12 completions on 15 attempts for 158 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dedrick Scrivens, 8 carries for 75 yards and 1 touchdown. Grant Restmeyer also with 5 carries and 54 yards. And then receiving, Jeremiah Campbell leads the way with 5 receptions for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brandon Bowling has 3 catches for 37 yards. Cassidy Woods, exact same numbers, 3 catches for 37 yards and a touchdown. And then Dedrick Scrivens, the 1 reception for 10 yards and the touchdown. On the other side of the board, Hebron passing, Richard Dodd, 4 completions on 6 attempts for 28 yards. Angelo Garbett, 10 carries for 10 yards. That Boyd defense has done a really good job of containing him. Richard Dodd has 8 attempts for -3 yards. Trey Pugh, 1 attempt for -5 yards. And then Jake Gennard, the 1 attempt for -12 yards on the not planned fake punt, but he had no option but to run the ball. And then receiving, Omar Hicksonu, 2 receptions, 17 yards. Derek Mueller, 1 reception, 7 yards. And that is it for Hebron.
So, Weston, you take a look at the next couple of quarters. I'll be surprised if Don Drake and McKinney Boyd puts their starters out for more than 1 series here in the second half.
I'd be surprised if they came out and started the second half. Heading into playoffs, you don't want any big injuries to your big players, especially, playoffs. It's 6 more games. That's a long second season.
And they hope to make a run.
They do. Their defense, they've proved their defense is pretty stout tonight. I've been very impressed with Restmeyer throwing the ball. He's spreading the wealth. Their receivers making all the catches. And Scrivens, boy, he moves just as fast horizontally as he does vertically.
Yeah, he's nice. And I mentioned to Don Drake in the pregame interview that this District 6A is just loaded with wonderful running backs. And, we saw, supposedly the best. And I'm not going to argue with them. In Soso Jamabo here a couple of weeks ago was special with 4 touchdowns and 150 yards running before halftime, and he took the shoulder pads off.
And Soso went out and proved against Allen that he could move the ball. He had over 200 yards rushing. He's just a special running back. And Brandon Stevens for Plano.
Brandon Stevens at Plano's a special running back. The kiddos at Allen, and they've got some decent little running backs, but they're all pale in comparison to number 1 in Kyler Murray, who's just catch your breath special.
Yeah, he is. Like Peter says, he's untackleable. He just 3rd and long is the most dangerous down for a defense against Kyler Murray because he'll find a way to break out of the pocket and get that first down.
Before we go to break and before we head to playoffs next week, I thought we might just take a little stop down right here and pass on kudos for a final time to the defending state titleists before they're so quickly forgotten when by-district rolls into area and into regional and into quarterfinal. Recall the defending Class 5A as it was, state champions in Division I Allen. Recall blasting the Oilers of Pearland 63-21 in the final. Class 5A's Division II Longhorns of Cedar Hill somehow find a way to beat Katy. That's a big win for Cedar Hill and the 2013 5A D2 state championship. We've talked about Denton Geyer earlier tonight. Somebody out of 6-5A or 6-6A, it looks like the Plano Wildcats will draw a 9-1 likely Denton Geyer team, and that's a 2-time defending champion, and they were dominant one more time as a Class 4A school a year ago, claiming a title.
That is, and Denton Geyer playing big rivalry game up at C.H. Collins in Denton, just handing it to Denton Ryan 33-0 going into halftime. And that's not a bad Denton Ryan team. They've struggled here late in the season, but they were a pretty good ball club we saw early in the year.
Yeah, I was impressed in game number 2. Geyer, a winner last year, 31-14 over San Antonio Brennan in the 4A D1 championship. Division II and 4A goes to Aledo, defeating Brenham. And then moving on down the list in Class 3A, your defending champions are Carthage and the North Texas entry in Argyle. And again, Shane Nanny over there coordinating the offense for Argyle was Brian Brazel's offensive coordinator here for the first 13 years of Hebron Hawk football. And Argyle defeating Fairfield last year in the 3A Division II title game. In Class 2A, Cameron Yo, the Yeoman, along with Cisco, the defending champs. In Class A, Stamford won it, along with the West Texas entry, Wellington. And, well, we'll see if some 6-man teams can defend championships this year. Crowell By the way, Plano's first ever playoff opponent in 1934. Defeated May last year, and Kroll now they're playing six-man football. Funny how teams go up and down, but Grand Falls Royalty defeating Milford for the other Division II championship in Class 6A. All right, let's take a halftime break between the halves at Hawk Stadium. Boyd 42, Hebron nothing.
The end is here. To get Huff Heinz' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Heinz Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on new Huff Heinz Jeep Liberties. Only $269 a month on new Huff Heinz Chrysler 200s. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Jeep Grand Cherokees or Dodge Durangos. At both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Heinz has it.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio. Your home for championship social media.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel.
Drew Smith of McKinney Boyd about to kick off this third quarter. The approach, the ball in the air. And Angelo Garbett from a yard deep will bring it up the right hash mark to the 10. He'll step to the 15, veer outside the 20, turn on the Jets 30 against the grain at the 40, and there's the tackle made on Garbett all the way out to the 44-yard line. A bright spot for Hebron on the third quarter kickoff return of Angelo Garbett, finally knocked on his numbers by Landon Livingston at the Hebron 44-yard line, trailing 42-0. Here's Hebron. Offensively, Brian Drew, the centerpiece, flanked by the guards Devin Wright and Jarrett Farley. Hayden Seeley at right tackle. Freddie Danchez is at left tackle. The tight end is Joe Martin. At fullback is Ragsdale, Jacob Ragsdale. Tailback, this guy, Garbett off tackle right side. Stone, but puts up the knees of Chernin and carries out to the 48-yard line. That's a nice 4-yard carry. Hit hard by Ron DeBoo and slowed but not brought down till DeBoo had some help out to the Hebron 48-yard line. Wide receivers for the Hawks are Derek Mueller along with Jalen Slater. And the quarterback is the sophomore in Richard Dodd. But a nice first down carry and a gain of 6 to the 48.5-yard line by Angelo Garbett. Hebron still milking down that play clock, trying to slow this thing down. Unders Dodd, toss sweep, Garbett. Digs edge, left side. Boy, nobody there. That is a great pursuing defense. First hit delivered by Ron DeBoo, a linebacker, but that stumbles and kind of staggers Garbett. And then here comes a lot of help. Noren, the safety, Livingston, the safety, and Matisic, the linebacker, all closing in on Angelo, who loses a pair to the 46.
This is something we haven't seen all year. Angelo's been able to get his yards, get his carries, and McKinney Boyd has just solved him tonight.
Yeah, last week, Angelo with a big night, 3 touchdowns, 179 yards rushing at Plano East. But tonight, he's had the cork put in the bottle, so to speak, as he hasn't had all year by Boyd defensively. Toss sweep, Garbett, right side, head down, drives to midfield. Boy, is he a warrior, though. In traffic, powers his way to the 48. Big blow, Boone Tate first hit safety. And there's his old bunkmate there at safety, Keaton Livingston. Also getting a piece of the tackle, and Hebron will go for it in Boyd territory at the 48-yard line, confronted with 4th and a long one. Play clock just now ticking at 20 seconds. So Hebron looks to the sideline and very methodically will get the fourth down play underway. And Boyd, all 11, looking the way of Angelo Garbett. Dot under. Garbett carries right side, first down, then some to the 44-yard line, the gain of 4. And big blow by Boone Tate and Livingston one more time, the tandem after Garbett went behind the guard on the right side, Jared Farley, the tackle that way, Hayden Seeley.
And that was a good job by the Hebron line opening up that hole for him. That's something we haven't seen very successful so far tonight, but hopefully that's a good sign going in the second half.
David Brazel working the series offensively at tight end. He's stationed on the right side. Working out of a shotgun, a handoff and a carry. And Garbett off tackle right side behind a Brazel block. Will carry from the 43 down to the 41-yard line. Noah Prater, that's a good-looking defensive end in red shoes, making the tackle on Garbett at the 41, only the gain of 2.5. Everybody's going to keep it on the ground. This may be as prompt a second half as we've experienced. Maybe we hope so.
It might be quick. We might see Scrivens for one series, and after that, who knows who could be coming in running the ball.
Second down and a short 8. Running play. Garbett bounces outside, keeps the Pistons pumping, and from the 41 to the 36-yard line will be shy of the first down. Identify the tackler as Armani Jenkins. Corner on the near side for the Broncos.
And that's a good job by Garbett. He's hit by Debu early, able to break that tackle and kick out to the right and get a few more yards.
I said it last week. I'll say it again. I'm going to miss Angelo Garbett. Plays with that clear shield on the headgear, wearing his Superman shoes. Jacob Ragsdale lines up in front of Garbett on third down and 3 in an I formation. Ragsdale the fullback. Tailback Garbett goes, head down, drives toward the stick. Second effort, going to get a first down. Down to the 31, Angelo Garbett would not be denied. Now we get some late movement. A head lineman across the way, stepping in, trying to act as peacemaker. Thought about throwing the flag, but took a bite of the flag. It's Armani Jenkins, along with Derek Mueller of Hebron, kind of locking it up late there. And I don't know if there was any real ill will between the two, but they did bring their pile on top of the stick. Garbett, after a tremendous exhibition, will get a breather and spell by Trey Pugh at running back.
And that's one of the reasons we love watching Garbett just run the ball is
wow.
He's going to go in there. He's going to lay a hit on the defensive man. He's not going to let them hit him.
Yeah, he's been special. The numbers for Garbett into tonight's ball game, 1,290 yards rushing. Here's Pugh kind of tiptoeing behind the right side of the offensive line, picking up only 2 to the 29. And Trey Pugh will learn in a hurry. There's no tiptoeing with this bunch. He put a head down, square the shoulders, and try to run over Blake Burton, who makes the tackle right there. But Trey was kind of standing up tall and trying to find a little window shopping for some daylight. Wasn't there, and Blake Burton knocked him down after the 2-yard gain.
It was, and we're seeing a battle between Derek Mueller and Boone Tate. The last 2 plays, it's been getting a little rough late.
Mueller is somebody that you certainly admire his ability to catch passes, but more frequently downfield blocking. He is a competitor. Boy, there's a little toss, and that's Trey Pugh off right tackle, and there's no governor on Boyd defensively. They are delivering blows out there, and Pugh is knocked down after a gain of 1.5 just inside of the Boyd 28-yard line by Keel Seamus. Big old number 90 there, 6 foot, 230-pound senior. 250-pound senior, beg your pardon. Thought he looked bigger than that, digging into that right defensive end. And now we got the nose guard, Joshua Stewart, for the second time. Maybe jumping the gun a little bit and coming across with the big stiff-arm Schiffer and shucking Drew, Hebron's Brian Drew, the center, off the football. It'll cost Joshua Stewart and the Broncos 5 yards.
And that's a big play. Hebron 3rd and 7. That's tough for them to convert, but now 3rd and 2. Garbett checks back in. Much more manageable for them.
Boy, and if you're a Boyd coach, you need to get in the ear hole of Joshua Stewart. He pulls that kind of stuff in a playoff game. It'll cost you. Christian Dawson into the ball game. Reggie Evans into the ball game. Toss to Evans. Outside, right side. Hurdles the tackler. Still on his feet. Breaks the tackle 15 to the 10. And Evans is down to the 8-yard lines on a great block downfield by Christian Dawson. Or was it Dawson on the carry? It was Dawson on the carry. Tate on the tackle. Boy, Christian Dawson on the carry. And I beg your pardon on the player identification. Those doggone old Nike blue unis with the black numbers, they're tough.
They are tough. Dawson, great run. He's able to juke left. He almost hurdles Boone Tate, but Boone Tate able just to get an arm up there and trip him up. If not, he would have taken that for a touchdown.
It is 1st down and goal, Hebron Hawks. The drive here off the 3rd quarter kickoff. Now 7 minutes of duration.
It's been a great drive for him. It's what they needed to do.
Gotten a little help with a couple of flags on the Boyd Broncos defensively. But that is still Dawson in at tailback. Dawson, right side. Dawson the corner. Dawson the 5 and hit it to 3 and drives to the 2. Keep the clock rolling as Dawson stays in bounds at the 2-yard line, and he'll get a breather. And here comes Angelo Garbett in at running back. That's Armani Jenkins, who saved a touchdown for Boyd out of the secondary.
And that's something we haven't seen Hebron do tonight, is get the corner. Dawson with a little bit more speed, able to get outside, able to move the ball for him.
Now let's see. In fact, it's Trey Pugh into the ball game, spelling Dawson at tailback.
Garbett's down here getting his ankle retaped.
Ragsdale at fullback, offset to the right side. From the 1.5-yard line, call it the 2. Boyd under. Dodd toss. Trey Pugh, nothing doing. He's stoned behind the right side of his offensive line and really met there by Matisic, the linebacker, and see if they will say he lost a couple of yards. In fact, back to just above the 3-yard line.
And Keaton Livingston was the first one in the backfield to break that up, slowed down Pugh.
And then they really delivered the blow there. Pugh stays into the game. 3rd down goal from the 3-yard line. There's a snap, there's a throw, there's a flag. And there's an incompletion if it stands, but 1-2 flags. Now a later flag is thrown on the defender, I believe. The pass was intended for Christian Dawson. Or no, that's Derek Mueller. And it's incomplete, and we're going to have a couple of flags to answer to. Jenkins was the defender on Mueller. And the flag, the later flag, landed at the feet of Jenkins, the defender. But our referee, Joel Williams, going to sort this thing out. The initial flag thrown across the way in front of the chain over there, in front of the down marker by the head linesman.
And I think that was a jump by Joshua Stewart again, crossing the line as the ball was snapped.
Here's our official indication. Offsides against Boyd is declined. Pass interference against Boyd will be accepted. And the automatic 1st down, and that interference was called directly on Armani Jenkins on the cover of Derek Mueller. So a fresh set of downs for Hebron as the penalty will mark it to the 2-yard line.
Armani Jenkins gets the flag, and I think he took the brutal end of that hit because Derek Mueller ripped him down after the ball was tipped.
Here's Richard Dodd, the sophomore quarterback. He's going to bend under center. Pugh at tailback. Jacob Ragsdale is the fullback from the 2-yard line. 1st down and goal, Hebron. Quarterback sneak. Dodd, head down, drives behind Drew. No sign yet. They'll unstack him and see if Dodd got to the pay station. And I think they're going to say he's just a breath shy. And it'll be 2nd down. Nope, there's the arms rolling skyward. And our head linesman has the moxie to make the call. And very late, touchdown, Richard Dodd on a 2-yard quarterback sneak.
Dodd able just to follow Brian Drew in the end zone. Gets a push from Garbett and Ragsdale, who are in the backfield, and just enough to get him to cross the plane.
Well, Richard Dodd finally able to find a crack in that Boyd defense and stick it in the end zone on a 2-yard running play. And here's Hebron's Kyler Terry. Haven't seen Kyler yet tonight. Point after touchdown out of a Derek Mueller hole. Nice job by Mueller pulling a high snap down and getting it spotted. And Kyler Terry knocks through the point after touchdown. We go to break after a long drive, a clock-eating drive, 3:08 remaining third quarter. And a new count from Hawk Stadium. McKinney Boyd 42, Hebron 7 on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Take your choice and pay just $269 a month on new Chrysler Town & Countries or Dodge Grand Caravans. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Chrysler 300s or Dodge Chargers at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huffines has it.
Hebron's ensuing kickoff. Nick Horiatis, that's in the air off a shoulder pad, and Karem's out of bounds. One of the upbacks there misplayed it and lived to tell about it for Boyd, as that was Keaton Livingston, a defender by trade, a safety and a good one, but he misplays the high kick, and it Karem's off his shoulder pads, and for Boyd, fortunately out of bounds, and Boyd will retain possession.
Yep.
But what a nice drive by the Hawks there off the third quarter kickoff.
Yeah, after the third quarter kickoff, they go 13 plays in
about 8 minutes.
Yeah, just 7 minutes, 52 seconds, 56 yards, a Richard Dodd 2-yard touchdown run.
Very nicely done to crack the egg for the first time tonight. Hebron on the board, trailing 42-7. And let's see who Boyd sends out. I think it's Grant Restmeyer and the rest of the starters. Restmeyer at quarterback. Hands it away. I beg your pardon. That's a fresh jersey in at quarterback in Seth Washington. And a new ball carrier in Caden Markham into the ball game. So you were right. David Brazel, defensive end, on the top for the Hawks. After a gain of 2 to the 27-yard line. I think we got a whole bunch of fresh jerseys, tackle to tackle. Seth Ambrose now in at center for Boyd. And here's the snap to Washington, the quarterback. Going to throw it and going to be intercepted. Yes, it is. Colton Chapin, or incomplete. Short hopped it, took it in front of Cassidy Woods on the near side. The pass was telegraphed big time by Seth Washington, the reserve quarterback, and just nearly picked off by Colton Chapin. And incomplete.
That's a play that McKinney Boyd has run a lot tonight, and Colton, I think, was looking for it, knew it was there, just unable to cradle it as he was going to the ground.
Third down, 8 from the 27. Now some personnel challenges for Hebron defensively. A lot of play and substitutions, and we will stop the clock right now as Hebron calls the timeout. It's 2:31 of a third quarter, and our count continues with Boyd leading the Hawks big. The Broncos at 42-7 give us an opportunity to offer our most sincere thanks to Randy Rogers and the team over at Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, such strong supporters of Hebron Hawk football, and quite simply stated, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, have the fun we have on Friday night and presenting Hebron Hawk football on Champion Sports Radio without support from folks like Randy Rogers and Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano. If you're searching for a new car or a used car, a Jeep Dodge, Chrysler, or Ram, well, at Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge, they provide everything automotive up to and including superb customer service. And we do thank Randy Rogers and his crew for the unfailing support. After the timeout, Washington in the pocket wants to throw. And it's blocked as he cuts it loose by Jamison Cooper, who was mirroring the quarterback as he took the pocket and on the run wide left, and he just about was to look, and Cocken did pull the trigger, and Jamison bearing down on him. He got a hand up and swatted it right back in his lap.
Jason Lynch coming from the outside, able to create that pressure to roll him out of the pocket.
First time we have seen Drew Smith on as a punter tonight.
And the first time Hebron has stopped McKinney Boyd from scoring.
Hebron will deploy as a deep man. I think that's Victor Miller. Yeah, I beg your pardon, that's Terry Wheeler Wheeler's deep. Hebron with big pressure. That's blocked. Blocked by Jared Lee. Tumbles inside the 10. Retrieved by a McKinney Boyd Bronco. He'll carry above the 10, and Hebron will take over at the 12-yard line. A flag is down back at the 10-yard line on the near sideline. By the way, the tackle made near the far sideline. And the guy who ran down the punt and was returning it, blocked by Jared Lee, was Ross Matasek. And it looks like it's going to be Hebron ball. Will just depend on what the infraction is. It is interference on Boyd, declined by Hebron. 1st and 10 Hawks on the 13-yard line in Bronco territory. We thought we were going to see Drew Smith punt for a first time tonight. He did touch one off, but it didn't last long. Thud. That second thud, courtesy of the block of Jarrett Lee.
Jarrett Lee's second block of the year, and he did the same thing he did against Allen. He just kind of bulldozed that man that was up in front of the punter and reached his right arm out and was able to get a paw on it and knock it down.
Here's Hebron employing in the backfield at tailback Mr. Evans, Reggie Evans, for the first time tonight. Richard Dodd, the sophomore signal caller, gallops on, ducks under, toss sweep. Evans digs to the edge, left, not going to clear the corner, but for a couple of yards, maybe 3, to the 10-yard line. Landon Livingston came up and twirled Reggie out of bounds, and Reggie Evans will gain only 2 to the 11-yard line. 2:06 remaining third quarter, and Hebron trying to close the gap, trailing by 35 at 42-7. Have a real opportunity here to do just that. Not so fast, Mr. Boyd. We may make this thing interesting, if nothing else. Dodd under. Evans continues to work at a deep tailback position. Toss to Evans, outside, right side, gives ground, loses ground, back to the 20-yard line. They'll say the knee touched at the 18. Armonte Jenkins very quickly seeing things, and Hebron trying to go wide right side with Evans. DeBow, a linebacker, in there, but it was DeBow who ran Evans into the tackle of Armonte Jenkins back at the 18-yard line. 3rd down, 15, Hebron.
Reggie Evans is quick, but DeBow was just as quick, able to chase him down, string him out, and lost big on the yardage.
If Hebron wants to burn their highest grade of octane in the backfield, then we'd see Christian Dawson. But Evans stays in, and Dodd's under. And Dodd will toss to Evans. Short side, wide side, right side, pulled down big time by the defensive end, Noah Prater, after the gain of 3 to the 15. And it's 4th down and a bunch for Hebron, and I'll bet you we'll see the angular place kicker in Kyler Terry, and there he is. Mueller will set a tee down for Mr. Terry at the 22-yard line for a 32-yard attempt. Kyler Terry has some field goals this year. His long, I think, was 35. This from 32 yards away from the hash mark on the right side. Stanton will snap, a good one. Mueller spots, and Terry boots it true with plenty to burn and add a 3 spot onto the Hebron board at 33 seconds remaining until we call it a third quarter at Hawk Stadium. And the new count, McKinney Boyd 42, Hebron 10 on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Weston getting late here in the third quarter that has been all Hebron. The Hawks posting 10 unanswered. The latest 3 on a 32-yard Kyler Terry field goal. Here's Nick Horiata's little pooch kick that's in the air. And that's over the top of everybody inside the 20-yard line, and then caroms out of bounds. And Boyd will likely take possession of the football after the mark-off to the 30-yard line.
Just a little too strong with the leg. It just lands right out of bounds over the head of the up back.
Hebron gained a very short field on the block punt from Jarrett Lee. Couldn't make much hay and call on Kyler Terry.
They did. They only went 3 plays. They actually lose yards on it overall, but Kyler Terry with the 32-yard field goal. Boyd 42, Hebron 10.
It's going to be fun. District 6-6A, we talked about how well the volleyball team did in the Big 9 team district. Girls, boys basketball coming up, baseball, the spring sports. It'll be fun to see how Hebron can compete with the mega schools in Plano and Allen. Here's a running play, and wide to the right side goes Caden Markham. And Markham can't clear the corner before he's pulled down by Corey Eberhardt. Boy, Eberhardt, Cooper, Holford, Shagoya, all seniors, the linebacking core. And they have all given a bunch to this Hawk program, particularly Clay Holford, the 3-year starter. Recall Clay Holford wears a pair of 9s on the jersey a couple of years ago as a sophomore and was a pretty doggone good nose guard.
He was, and he came back, played middle linebacker. Last year he's paired up with Burford, and they made havoc back there.
Very nice. With that, we'll conclude our third quarter of play through 3 at Hawk Stadium. Our count, Boyd 42, Hebron 10 on Champion Sports Radio.
The end is here. To get Huff Heinz' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huff Heinz Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay just $259 a month on the all-new 2013 Huff Heinz Dodge Starts. Only $269 a month on new Huff Heinz Ram Quad Cabs. Or only $279 a month on new Huff Heinz Ram Crew Cabs. At both locations of Huff Heinz Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Huff Heinz has it.
Well, for the Hebron Hawks, a fresh 12 and the final 12 minutes of the 2014 season have been posted on the Hawk Stadium scoreboard. Change into the field, 4th frame. Boyd will move from north to south, our left to right, and will go to work from the 34 and confronted with 2nd down and 6. And a quarterback into the ball game, I believe that's Brayman is on the tackle of the quarterback for the Boyd Broncos, and a fresh jersey in Cannell Woods. He is a junior, number 3 on the depth chart for the Broncos at quarterback. Boyd raced out to a 42-0 lead by halftime, scoring 21 in the first and duplicating the 3 counts and 21 points in the second frame of the ball game. And Hebron 10 unanswered in quarter number 3. We sit at 42-10 Broncos. And Woods at quarterback. And here's a flag, and here's a handoff, and here's a carry, and there's no whistle, and the carry is by Caden Markham. He's banged out of bounds after a healthy gain to midfield. And it looked like we might have had some movement up front, but again, no flags and no whistles. And a gain of a dozen out to midfield for Caden Markham. And there was a flag, and it's offsides against Hebron, and it's declined. Yeah, Hebron kind of pulled up after their guy was offsides and thought the play was dead. Keep playing, no whistle. And it's just a free play for Boyd, and they take advantage of it with Markham stepping off for a dozen to midfield.
Yeah, Markham wasn't slowing down. He saw that edge, and he took it.
Hebron trying to dig in and featuring some fresh jerseys, getting some seniors, maybe some late season play time. Try to identify some of those guys. Quarterback, Cannell Woods. To the running back, Markham. Left side of the offensive line, gaining 3 to Hebron's 47-yard line. And for the Hawks, on the stop is Jacob Timish. Good player is Timish, junior, outside linebacker. Missed a considerable amount of this junior season due to injury, but has come back and has been visible the last couple of weeks.
He has. He's played well. He's come in and done his job, and especially with the run sport.
Fun at halftime was one John Clark with a surprise visit. Not surprised to see Coach Clark here with his lifelong best friend, Charlie Brazel, watching Brian Brazel and the guys, but shocked that he came down and made the effort to come down and join us in the booth, threw a headset on him, and I had fun. I hope you did. In the passing pocket, now buried for a sack is Cannell Woods, the Boyd quarterback. And you peel arm off, and Jarrett Lee's a bigger part of the sack than anybody else. And that is a loss back to midfield of 3, third down, same 10 as it was before.
And it's Timish, who was there originally, that slowed down the play and allowed Jarrett Lee to get in there to make sack.
Trying to put the glasses on this Hebron defensive 11, and a couple of them seniors jump off the field at me. Omar Hicks-Onu, good player, missed the first half of his senior year. Clay Holford missed a couple of ball games. The youngster we mentioned had started as a sophomore linebacker in the last couple of years and played very well then and has played well since he transferred to an inside linebacking position. He'll close out a good high school career tonight. Here's a quarterback draw and keeping. That's Woods, and Woods rolls to the 45 to the 40. And Woods is run down and tossed down rather rudely, I might add, by the aforementioned Clay Holford inside the 35 at the 33-yard line. That's a 17-yard scramble on third down and 10 for Cannell Woods.
It's a good play call. He comes up with the ball like he's going to throw it, then just takes off up the middle, and there's no one there until Holford chases him down.
I'm not sure we've seen a stopped clock here in the second half other than balls going over the boundary. Running play. That's Mr. Markham dancing behind the left side of his offensive line. Hebron plays a good brand of defensive football on that snap, and Caden Markham runs into the grasp of Jacob Timish and David Brazel after the gain of a pair to the 31-yard line at the 8.5-minute mark of this, the fourth quarter at Hawk Stadium.
And Clay Holford there in the middle, able to slow him down so Brazel and Timish can make the tackle.
Hebron, for only a third time since 2001 to miss the playoffs. The previous two misses were in 2009 and 2010, back-to-back years. Since then, Hebron 3 consecutive seasons to the playoffs. Last year went 2 rounds deep, a by-district win lopsided over LD Bell. And in round number 2, bowing in a big way to Cedar Hill. Boyd runs, a flag's down, a ball carrier is down. Partee is on the tackle, and on the carry was Caden Markham. And again, our officiating crew will sort out the laundry. Hebron will close at 2 wins and 8 losses. And if you look at Hebron historically, the only record in the previous 14 seasons less than the 2 wins of 2014 was the debut season of 2000 when they went 0-10. Well, offsetting penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Broncos and against the Hawks. And let's hope this officiating crew is doing what they can to keep peace here, because they are trading licks out there, and some of them after the whistle. And what are we going to go through the gyrations of a 15-yard mark-off and then bring it back? No. We'll set it down at the 29-yard line. And from right there, it is third down. And that's 6, maybe 6.5 for Boyd in Hebron territory from the 29. Crowd absolutely sedate at the moment, and why not? 42-10 our count. And Boyd with Cannell Woods taking the snap. And on a midline option, turns it up left side, and Jarrett Lee fights off a block and plays inside out, and by the shoulder pad, twirls down Cannell Woods.
And that's a great play by Lee. They've run that option a few times tonight. They have yet to pitch it to the running back. The quarterback's always held on to it, and Lee just went straight after the quarterback, able to bring him down for just a 1-yard gain.
Lee in the middle, David Brazel along with Chris Brayman are the defensive ends. Clay Holford and Jamison Cooper inside backers. Timish and Eberhard are the Hawk outside backers for 4th and 4 from the Hebron 27. Running play. The quarterback turns it up, picks up 3 of the 4 needed. I think Hebron stops him with Jarrett Lee playing inside out again and making the tackle on Cannell Woods a yard shy of the first down stick. And Hebron will take over on downs, 1st and 10. Go the other way with the Hawks inheriting the possession, earning the possession at the Hebron 25-yard line. 6:47 remaining, fourth quarter, Hawk Stadium.
And it's Chris Brayman who silently makes that play because he immediately marked the running back. They had nowhere to pitch the ball, and Jarrett Lee, again, able to make the tackle on the quarterback.
Very nicely done. Hebron, with 6.5 remaining in the fourth quarter, has held Boyd scoreless in this back half. A running play, and I believe that's Trey Pugh with a carry behind the right side of his offensive line, and he'll put the head down and find a way from the 25 for 6 to the 31-yard line. And Bewley, Austin Bewley, a reserve outside linebacker, is on the stop. All the starters for Boyd, and why not? Across the way, many with shoulder pads removed. They are comfortably up on Hebron 42-10 at the midway mark, quarter number 4. Dodd running play. That's Pugh. Nowhere to go. Ram down. Line of scrimmage to 31. Third down and 4 forthcoming. Trey on the carry. Would like to see a couple more carries for Angelo Garbett, should he be healthy enough. Jacob Reber working in the secondary on the latest tackle of Pugh, but I'm not sure that Angelo, maybe gimpy with that ankle, they were retaping.
He may be. We haven't seen him since we saw him on the trainer's table, but hopefully we can get him back in for a few more carries.
Third down, 4, Hawks from the 31. Running play. Pugh, right side, head down, picks up 2 of the 4 needed. It'll be fourth down, and 2 for Hebron at the Hawk 33-yard line. Reber again is on the stop for Boyd. Well, Boyd will close out the year at 7 wins, 3 losses. They have every opportunity to meet and exceed the winningest Boyd teams as you tumble down Times Corridor. Best record ever, 9-3 back in 2010. Also 9 wins back in 2007 as a 4A school, 9-4. Dawson working at tailback. There's the speed, there's the toss. Dawson going to get a first down across the 35 and rolled up near the 38-yard line on Dawson by Drew Robinson.
That's a nice run by Dawson. He saw that hole and he hit it quick, able to pick up the yards for the first down.
Clock inside of the 5-minute mark.
I got a few scores for you, Brad. Third quarter, Allen up 21-13 over Plano East. Plano West leading Flower Mound 37-0 in the third quarter, and Plano is up 28-7 on Louisville in the third quarter.
No surprises there. Perhaps a surprise, an eyebrow raiser, is how Plano East had a 1-8 team playing the state's top-ranked and a 36-game winning streak for the Allen Eagles and playing them pretty close. Josh Booker is on the tackle, a linebacker, and he makes the tackle on the Hebron ball carrier, who I believe was Christian Dawson staying in the game. It was Dawson. Little man lost among the redwoods there between the tackles. Gain of 2 for Dawson. And the good wheels of Christian Dawson continue to work at tailback. Dawson, little toss, not much doing, and explodes between 2 would-be tacklers from the 40 and carries to the 44. That's a gain of 5 with Jacob Reber, an outside linebacker, on the stop of Christian Dawson.
And that's a good block by Jalen Goodwin out there on the corner.
Thanks to all these guys that made Hebron Hawk special. Hebron Hawk football through the years. Winds don't blow the way of the Hawks in 2014, but those winds will change. Trey Pugh with the carry, and first down carry. Needed 4, got 5, maybe 5.5 down to his 49 goes Pugh. Second slipping away after they reset the chains. They'll tick down the final 3 minutes and 8 seconds. And Reber on a roll here. He's been on 5 of the past 6 Bronco tackles, the outside linebacker. Reggie Evans now works at tailback. A block from Miller. Reggie Evans outside right side, just ankle tackled at the line of scrimmage. And who was it there with the swipe tackle and just got a shoelace to pull down Evans? That is Boone Tate. Safety who has played throughout the ball game and continues to play here in the very late go, starting safety. Well, if he doesn't make that tackle right there, Reggie Evans may be doing a dance down the sideline.
He might be. Just barely caught a shoelace to trip him up.
Reggie had places to go. Evans takes a toss, loses a toss. Loose ball on the ground. Boyd recovers. Hebron's 41-yard line. And the turnover will go to the Boyd Broncos. And that's a bunch of kiddos that doesn't see a whole lot of play time that forced that turnover and saw it and pounced on it in Landon Livingston. Backup safety, and they bound for joy as they take to the far sideline. And I'm sure they'll just kind of eat the football and bleed off the final 2:06 of the scoreboard clock here at Hawk Stadium. And for Hebron, some fresh jerseys to play the final defensive sequence of the year. Victor Miller in at a defensive end. Bunch of fresh jerseys. Washington back in at quarterback, keeps it wide to the right side, turns the corner 30, on his way 20. Seth Washington 10 to the 5 and a 41-yard touchdown run by Seth Washington will put up the first second half points for McKinney Boyd. Washington, a backup quarterback with a nice fake into the line. And trust me, Hebron bought the bait, then some, because nobody's wide. And Washington with a 41-yard run to take the Boyd Bronco total up to 4-8 with the point after touchdown from Drew Smith to fake. Drew Smith, 6 of 6, now 7 of 7. No, he missed this one wide, beg your pardon. 6 of 7. He's no good, and we continue locked in at that 48-10 mark. Misfiring after the Boyd touchdown here in quarter number 4 at the 1 minute 58-second mark. It was a one-play 41-yard drive after the Hebron turnover, the lost fumble of Reggie Evans. An opportunity here during the stoppage in play to say thanks to our sponsors of Hebron Hawk football, including Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, Whirly Ball with the 2 locations, both in Hurst and Plano, to serve you. In Command Broadcasting, that's a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. Point of Origin Design, we tip our hat and say thank you to those folks, the full-service design and logo creation company. Our friends at ShockboxDFW.com, and, of course, the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra and the new GDYO Jazz Institute, instituted here in 2014. The kickoff forthcoming for Boyd and Drew Smith. The approach, Smith has not kicked very many real deep and doesn't come real deep with this one. In fact, it surfaces out of bounds right around the 20-yard line in Hebron territory. And the Hawks will take it and bleed off the final minute and 58 seconds offensively after seeing the reserve quarterback Seth Washington roll for the 41-yard touchdown late fourth quarter.
You've got Keith Thomas checking into the game. Terry Wheeler. Along with Charles Brown.
Tailback is Reggie Evans. And he's with a little bit of a carry and some wiggle there and steps out of one tackle, and that's the 35, and that's the 43-yard line. Rolls Reggie Evans. That's a gain of 14 yards.
Reggie made 5 or 6 guys miss on that run, and we saw him do that a few weeks ago with a big run. He's a little elusive guy.
Evans at 5'6" and 175 pounds. A senior who ended the ball game. 21 carries, 117 yards, so he's adding to that. Toss, Evans, right side.
Point of origin design.
Out to the 45, and not much more there. The gain of 2, maybe 3 to the 46 at the minute 35 mark. This one mercifully ticking towards conclusion. Josh Booker, senior linebacker, reserve on the stop of Evans at the 46 in Hawk territory. Minute 19, minute 18. Richard Dodd under center, have an eye set. Running play, Evans, right side, gain of 2 to the 48. And that'll be all on second down. Third down, 5, forthcoming. Blake Bass as the Boyd Broncos, and pleased to see this, have emptied their bench then some here in the fourth quarter. Trey Pugh will give Reggie Evans a late break and take over at tailback. That's Pugh on the carry, off tackle right side to midfield on third down and 5, picks up 3.5 to the 39. Maybe the last play of the ball game. We're ticking inside of 30 seconds now. And Hebron to the line after the tackle by Bass. It's 4th down and 2. Hebron, and they want to get off one more snap. And Dodd in a hurry sets him down. At 12 seconds, bends under, takes a snap. Pugh going to carry for a first down, and Trey Pugh will bully his way to the 45 to the 44 in Boyd territory. And after they mark the first down and start the clock, that'll be it. The final 5 seconds will slip away. Hebron trying to get maybe one more play in, but they will now wind time in and ticking down from 4-3, 2 and 1. We go final at 42-10. Hebron unable to get off that final snap. First ever meeting between the McKinney Boyd Broncos and the Hebron Hawks, and this one goes the way of the Broncos, and in a big way. Again, our final score, Boyd 42 and Hebron 10 with the win. The Boyd Broncos will close the regular year at 7 wins and 3 losses and look forward to representing District 6A as the top seed in Division 2. Hebron will close out the year and pull the curtain all the way shut. No playoffs for the Hawks, who will close at 2 wins and 8 losses. We recap it on the other side of the timeout. Boyd's Broncos win it over Hebron's Hawks, 48-10. Our final count on Champion Sports Radio.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
The end is here. To get Huffines' lowest prices of the year during the final days of Huffines' Model Year-End Sales Event at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Take your choice and pay just $269 a month on new Chrysler Town & Countries or Dodge Grand Caravans. Or take your choice and pay just $329 a month on new Chrysler 300s or Dodge Chargers at both locations of Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Plano and Louisville.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating. especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute, online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the #1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
The aftermath at Hawk Stadium, our postgame programming brought to you by In Command Broadcasting. Along with Wes Lynch, I'm Brad Denton. Thanks much for spending a portion of your Friday evening with us. I think I misstated the final on the way out after the break at the conclusion of the fourth quarter there, and mentioned that Boyd won at 42-10. In fact, Boyd posts that very late fourth quarter touchdown that completes the arrangements for the real final, which was McKinney Boyd 48 and Hebron 10, and it's neither one way or the other. This one was all Boyd, and maybe the fastest second half we have seen. No passes thrown, either team just running and keeping the clock rolling, because this one was well out of the balance by halftime, with Boyd's lead at 42-0 over the Hawks by the half. Here's how we got there, the scoring summary. Almost all McKinney Boyd, including the fireworks early. Hebron won the toss and elected to defer decision to the second half, so Nick Horiatis kicked off for Hebron to open up the ball game and got a good leg into it, and it took one of the return guys, stepper 3 in reverse. It was Brandon Bowling who gathered it in a yard deep in the end zone, and man, Bowling came out flying up the right hash mark to about the 20 and veered to the right and stepped to the 25 on the numbers by the 30, and maybe got a dirty look around his 35 or 40-yard line. Never was touched, and by midfield, you could see him breaking to the sideline, and all clear there, and a 101-yard return of the opening kickoff by Boyd's Brandon Bowling And only 13 seconds into the ball game, bring on Drew Smith, who converts the point after touchdown, and Boyd's lead was 7-0 over the Hawks. So Hebron unable to muster much, if any, offense throughout the first quarter and well into the second quarter until the Hawks achieved a first down and mounted what was as good a first-half drive as they had, but it ended up coughing it up on a giveaway, a lost fumble. But back to the first quarter, I left you off only 13 seconds into the ball game. After Hebron able to do anything offensively, they punted the ball away to McKinney Boyd, and Boyd put together a 3-minute drive. It only took them 7 plays, and they went 53 yards. And at the 6:44 mark of that opening period, they go upstairs with Grant Restmeyer, their very good-looking 6'3", 190-pound junior quarterback, throwing the first of what would, I believe, be 4 first-half touchdown passes. The first one here covers 32 yards, and it's to Jeremiah Campbell. That's his favorite receiver, a 5th touchdown reception for Campbell. And again, a 32-yard pass from Restmeyer. Drew Smith point after, and 14-0, not even to the midway mark of the first period. Later in that first frame, it's Boyd one more time as they put together a 9-play, 69-yard drive and chew up 4.5 minutes of that first quarter clock and score at the 3-minute, 13-second mark, quarter number 1, on a 10-yard touchdown pass from Grant Restmeyer to Dedrick Scrivens out of the backfield. Scrivens wide open in the end zone. They schemed Hebron, and nobody was covering Scrivens. The 10-yard pass is complete. The Drew Smith point after, and we are at 21-0 Boyd as we move play from the first into the second quarter, and not deep into that second quarter when Boyd scores again, this time after forcing a Hebron punt, and the snap was back to Jake Gennard, and he had heavy pressure, and I think not by design he took off a running and didn't run very far. He was banged down at the Hawk 25-yard line, and after gaining the possession on the turnover on downs, deep in plus territory from the Hawk 25-yard line, well, Boyd does what a lot of teams do in that situation. That's go home run on the initial play of the possession. Home run spelled out, in this case, the 25-yard pass. Grant Restmeyer to Cassidy Woods with a nice catch on the sideline and near the baseline of the end zone, but didn't get a foot down. And the Cassidy Woods reception of the Grant Restmeyer 25-yard aerial comes at 11:15 until halftime. The one-play 25-yard Boyd scoring drive punctuated by the Drew Smith point after, and Boyd's lead stretched out to 28-0. Later in that second quarter, stretched it to 35-0 as Boyd off of a Hebron fumble. In fact, the fumble for Hebron was on Hebron's far and away most handsome first quarter drive as they finally got some rhythm and got some things clicking, had some help with a couple of Boyd penalties, but nevertheless they were driving and very handsomely when quarterback Richard Dodd was back into a passing formation, and here came pressure and scrambling. Dodd lost the football, had it poked from his possession, and was recovered at Hebron's 22-yard line. Well, 78 yards later, only took a minute 27 for Boyd to cover those 78 yards after the recovered fumble. And at the 5:43 mark of that second quarter, it's Dedrick Scrivens showing just how special he is. And Scrivens scampers in on a 19-yard touchdown run, which was a thing of beauty. It was off guard right side and in a little bit of traffic, but somehow this kiddo named Scrivens has that ability. I don't want to compare him to Barry Sanders, but almost Barry Sanders-like, the way he could hit in the hole, land on a foot, and then jump sideways and then kick in the jets. He does that for 19 yards on the touchdown run at 5:43, quarter number 2. Drew Smith, point after, about 35-0 Boyd, and the Broncos weren't finished. Later in that second quarter, go upstairs one more time. Airborne Grant Restmeyer on a 13-yard touchdown pass, converting a 3rd down and 10 to Jeremiah Campbell. For Campbell, touchdown reception, number 6 on the year. And for Restmeyer, a 4th touchdown pass of the first half, number 19 on the year. It covers 13 yards. It comes at 1:17 of quarter number 2. Drew Smith, well, he's 5 of 5 now, making 6 of 6 in the first half point after touchdown department. 42-0, and that's where we went to the ceasefire. And Hebron kind of gathered themselves at halftime and came out and played a far handsomer second half, albeit against many reserves for McKinney Boyd. Hebron scores in the first quarter after taking the second half kickoff and possessing the football for the better part of 9 minutes. And they marched 13 plays, 56 yards, again helped by, I think it was 2 defensive penalties on Boyd. The drive is punctuated on a 2-yard quarterback sneak touchdown run, first rushing touchdown for Hebron's sophomore quarterback Richard Dodd, and again from 2 yards away. Kyler Terry, point after touchdown, is good, and Hebron at the 3:08 mark, quarter number 3, finally take a bite out of the bagel there on the board. It's Boyd, 42-7. Later in that third quarter, after a block punt by Hebron's nose guard, Jarrett Lee, put the Hawks in business deep in Boyd territory, but Hebron can't make any hay offensively, and on fourth down they bring in the talented kicker in Kyler Terry, and from 32 yards away, Terry is good with the field goal with 33 seconds remaining in that third quarter of play. All running plays in the second half by either team. The clock was spilling down and in a hurry, but with backups into the ball game throughout the second half, it was a backup quarterback in Seth Washington of McKinney. They had a very late fourth quarter possession. In fact, it was 1:58 remaining in the ball game when Washington faked inside to sophomore running back Caden Markham, who'd been busy in the second half, and Hebron bit the bait and took the fake. And I mean everybody for Hebron did. At least it looked that way. And Seth Washington, the junior quarterback, kept it wide to the right side, and nothing but green synthetic turf and white stripes in front of him. And he scampers for 41 yards for the game's final half dozen points as it takes the Boyd total from 42 to 48. And then Drew Smith, who is Mr. Perfect on the first 8 point afters of the night, misfires on point after number 9. The attempt is wide, and it completes the arrangements for our Hawk Field final tonight. 48 for McKinney Boyd and 10 for Hebron, and that's just kind of the way it was. We thought that Boyd would be a very good football team, just looking at where they've been and what they've done. This is a 5th consecutive win for the Boyd Broncos, and this is a team that their first 3 games of the year, a loss to Mesquite Horn in Game 1, a loss to Allen in Game 3, and sandwiched between the two, a very impressive win over Coppell, but they were 1-2 through 3, and then got a win over Flower Mound, lost to Plano West, and since then, bang, they've knocked out 5 in a row, so just ran the table the back half of the year. Did Don Drake and his squad, and it's a squad you can root for in the playoffs. I like their brand of football. Perhaps someone from Hebron West might say, oh, they were a little chippy, but hey, you need to play this game. It's a Spartan sport, and you need to play it close to the edge at times.
They did, and they played well. I was impressed offensively. They did what they wanted. They ran the ball, quarterback and running back. They were able to spread it out, passing the ball, short passes, deep passes. And then defensively, they just flew to the football. I mean,
I was really impressed with particularly their starters.
I mean, there's been a lot of teams that have tried to still Garbett down, and he's gotten what he's gotten, and that's why he has his yardage so high. And tonight, he just couldn't find anywhere to move the ball.
I'm impressed with Allen hanging 58 on these guys, and particularly Plano West hanging 62 points.
Yeah.
On this Boyd team back when the So-So Jamabo Dedrick Scrivens matchup was going to go. So-So wins that one, going away. But we do go final. It is 48 for Broncos, and it's 10 for the Hawks, and 7-3, and on their way to the second season, a 5th consecutive playoff appearance for Boyd, a 6th overall in this, the 9th year of Boyd Bronco varsity football. And Hebron stays home. Hebron stays home for only the 4th time in this, the 15th year of Hebron Hawk football. And on the outside looking in, all of that's been under the baton of Mr. Hebron Hawk football and head coach Brian Brazel, who closes out year number 15 at the helm of the program he started when they opened up the doors in the fall of 1999. And through 15 years, Brian Brazel, a most respectable 107 in the win column and 66 losses to go along with the 107 in the win column for Brian Brazel. And we talked to him before the ball game. You had a chance just a short time ago to talk to Coach Brazel post-game, and I can almost feel like the first thing he's going to say is I'm awful proud of the kids, particularly in the second half. Let's give a listen.
Coach Brazel, not the night you were hoping to have, not the year you were hoping to have, but you graduate a bunch of seniors. In all year, they played as hard as they could. They worked their tails off, practice week in, week out. How proud are you for coming out and fighting in that second half?
Well, I mean, we knew. I mean, we were not under some crazy idea that we were going to come out and win the game. But I said, guys, we just come out and play each play. I mean, you only got 24 minutes left of your high school career, and for you seniors and the rest of you guys for this season. And so we want to come out and play hard, and that's what we said. We're going to come out second half, and we're going to do the things that we do, and we do well. I mean, and sometimes it's not real pretty. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 2 yards, 5 yards, but we did things we needed to do to go down, and do what we said we're going to do. We're going to go down and get a score, and we did. Took up about 7.5 minutes off the clock, and you do that type of thing. It does good things for your football team. Then we got to stop defensively, got a block punt, and and so I was proud of how we came out. And then they gave a score late, had a lot of kids in, give them a chance to play at the end, and that was good for them. And they made a nice play, and that's the way it goes. But I'm proud of these kids. I mean, I hurt for them because I think it's just like a parent. As a parent, you always want your kids to always have the best of everything, but it doesn't always work out that way. And, with our kids, they got to learn through adversity, and they got to learn through the tough times. And I know these kids are going to learn through the tough times that we had this year, and they'll be better men for it. But they're great kids, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with the rest of their life.
You have one player on your team. He's been a part of this program for 15 years, but played for you for the last 4, your son, David Brazel.
Right.
What has that experience been like for you as a coach and as a father?
Well, the Lord's blessed me more than I deserve. I've got a beautiful family. I got a great wife that's done a great job raising my 2 daughters and my son. And to get a chance to coach him has been very special. It was tough when he was hurt this year, and I didn't know how bad it hurt until I found that he did get hurt. And I was happy that he got to come back and play one more game and have a chance to do that, and just enjoy being around that. But it's been very special. And again, I'm just proud of him as, for him and his Christian faith and what he stands for and what he's about, and the kind of young man he's turned into. And it's been a privilege to get a chance to coach him. And I've talked to a lot of coaches, and when they talk about their experience with their son, sometimes it hasn't been the greatest, but I have far different. I heard, like I said, I wish, it's like I said, as a parent, and again, I had to parent and as a coach tonight, but you want the very best for your kids, and you would love for him to, I'd love for him to have a state championship year like we did in 2005 when he was a ball boy doing that and being a part of that. But, the great thing about David is he's got a great perspective on things in life because he is strong in his faith, and he knows what's really important, and he looks forward to the things that are in the future. And he understands the game. He's been around, and he knows that you're going to go through your peaks and valleys in football just as you are in life. And again, I think he's just been great for the opportunity, and I love him with everything I got, and I give everything I have for him. So it's been very special. And but it's. I don't know how special till I got a chance to do it. So I'm thankful to God that he gave me a chance to do it.
Well, we love to hear it. Again, Coach, we love working with you every week, and we can't wait to see you next year. Thank you for everything you do for us.
Oh, thank y'all, man. Y'all do a great job. Appreciate it.
Well, that's a good job, Wes, and that's a good man right there in Brian Brazel. And there's a whole lot of kiddos, and I had one that played football through this Hebron program, a handful of years ago, but same feeling. And to a man, every one of those kids will look you in the eye and say, no, it was my privilege, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to call a man like Brian Brazel coach, and he is just that, and a lot of young people have benefited from him, and he loves what he does, and it's very evident, and Hebron's very fortunate to have him, and kiddos are very fortunate to have him and have the opportunity to play and to grow under him, and even in the not-so-good years, like 2 wins and 8 losses in 2014, that's a group of young athletes that are richer for the experience.
That's right, and they all know they are welcome to come back anytime, any game. Brian will be the first one there, shake their hand, give them a hug. Once you graduate from this program, doesn't mean you're not part of the program. You always will be.
And, Wes, we've talked, and in fact, tonight we talked, and we just looked and said that week in and week out, and it's not just other coaches running off at the mouth. They will tell us when we interview the other guys, the opponents, before the ball game, how much respect they have for one Brian Brazel, and because of that, for the Hebron High School football program. And it all starts and ends, and there's one face and one face only of Hebron Hawk football. And the guy you just heard, Brian Brazel. And I'll make you a wish that depending on how much dry gunpowder he can come up with, he'll compete pretty well in 2015.
Oh, he will. He'll find a way to come back and fight, and he always does. I mean, they've had their down years, and the next year they always come back, and they're ready to go.
Kind of interested in reviewing this thing to see if statistics are as lopsided, and I'm thinking they well may be, as much as the Boyd Broncos dominated, particularly the first half of play. But
58 yards and 4 touchdowns. Rushing-wise, Diedrich Scrivens, 8 attempts for 75 yards and 1 touchdown. Grant Restmeyer also had 5 rushes for 54 yards. And then Seth Washington came in with the late run and touchdown for his 1 attempt on 41 yards for the touchdown. Keaton Markham had 6 rushes for 25 yards, and Connell Woods 5 rushes for 22 yards. Receiving-wise, Jeremiah Campbell led the way with 5 receptions and 74 yards, along with 2 touchdowns. Brandon Bowling, 3 receptions, 35 yards. And then Woods with 3 receptions, 37 yards and a touchdown. Hebron on the other side of the ball, Richard Dodd, 4 completions, 6 attempts for 28 yards. Angelo Garbett ended his night with 18 rushes, 36 yards. Christian Dawson with 5 rushes, 32 yards. Trey Pugh had 10 rushes for 18 yards. Reggie Evans, 6 rushes for 16 yards. And Richard Dodd had 9 attempts for -1 yards. Overall on the night, McKinney Boyd racked up 375 yards. Hebron only had 108 yards.
Hats off to Angelo Garbett. He was kind of limited tonight, but he'll close out a senior campaign as a running back. And this is a guy that's a wonderful linebacker by trade, but due to where Hebron needed him, he lines up in the backfield, a running back, and he's going to end up with 1,325 yards.
He was fun to watch this year. I mean, those legs kept churning. He looked for hits. He could break tackles and break away, score touchdowns, and he was special. And we talked to Coach Brazel a couple weeks ago, and Brazel said he loves to play defense. He wished he was playing defense, and that's where he wants to be. And just to see what he does offensively when that's his standpoint is impressive.
It'll be interesting to see where some of these Hebron kiddos have enough talent and have drawn some interest from what they say the next level, so to speak. And one of those is Angelo Garbett, Omar Hicks Onu, another. I think Clay Holford can play. There's a handful of others who will have the opportunity to perhaps look at schools who may be interested in them, but particularly interested in Hicks Onu, along with Angelo Garbett, have both verbally committed to the Pac-10 school, Oregon State University, and nothing wrong with the Beavers, but I'm just wondering if both of them will have an ear open if somebody perhaps a little closer to home may come a knocking on the door, and that well may happen.
It might, and don't forget about big left tackle Zach Rogers committed to Arkansas.
No, you're exactly right, and it's a shame that we haven't mentioned Zach as often as we have, because that's one of the real low points of the year when Hebron traveled over to Plano and relatively early in the district schedule, and I'll be doggone if we don't lose Zach Rogers for the year after playing just 3 ball games, and in fact that was in game number 3, and this after the kiddo missed his complete junior year And he is, as blue a blue chip as Hebron has is Zach Rogers. And obviously the Hawks missed the big left tackle big time. I don't remember another kiddo having more impact on a football program playing only his freshman and sophomore years and just 2 games plus in his senior year, because Big Zach was special, and we do appreciate that, and thanks for bringing that up.
The senior and a good kid like that.
Yeah, and at last report, Zach's certainly online to graduate from Hebron at midterm, and then he's going to head up to the University of Arkansas, where he is firmly committed to take his talents collegiately. And Coach Bielma and those boys up there will have Zach Rogers hitting the ground running, because they know what a special talent they have, and they'll get to what the Razorbacks have going forward. Wes, let me tip my hat to you personally, because we were operating with an abbreviated crew tonight. We usually share this thing with our old friend Pete Nielsen, and a guy who fed you breakfast for so many doggone years, your dad Trent, and we're a pretty good foursome. I don't know if we're that good at twosome, but somehow we had to try to grow some broad shoulders and carry this thing, and I enjoyed it and couldn't have done it without you, and very much appreciate who you are and what you do throughout the year, but particularly tonight when you were my sidekick and butcher and baker and candlestick maker and everything else. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It was fun. I had a blast working alongside of you, and can't wait for next year.
The Hebron Hawks are on Champion Sports Radio. This broadcast of Louisville Independent School District football has been brought to you by Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, where they provide everything automotive along with superb customer service. With a new or used Jeep Dodge, Chrysler, or Ram from Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Plano, you get a reliable, you get a stylish new car, and you'll get that vehicle at a price that won't break the bank. By Whirly Ball, with the 2 locations to serve you, both in Plano as well as Hurst. Leagues are forming right now. Visit them online at whirlyball.info. By In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company, online at incommandbroadcasting.com. By our friends at Point of Origin Design, a full-service design and logo creation company offering a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products online at pointoforigindesign.com. And by ShockboxDFW.com. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. By the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra and the new GDYO Jazz Institute. Enjoy a cultural experience. Bring your family along and do it without breaking the bank. Visit gdyo.org for more information. Hebron Hawk Football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio. On Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. That concludes this edition of the In Command Broadcasting postgame show. For my partner Wes Lynch, I'm Brad Denton. We're Champion Sports Radio. And for a final time, I remind you from Hawk Stadium on the campus of Hebron High School, our final score tonight, McKinney Boyd, the Broncos 48, and the Hebron Hawks 10. That's all for this time. We do thank you for your time, and until next time, so long, everybody.